article, Gaza didn't score at Italia 90. He didn't score. Bellingham's got 6 in 6. It's different. I don't see how you can say that he's not better than what Gerrard did for England. Gerrard had his moments, remarkable footballer. But Rooney's contribution, Gerrard's contribution, Lampard's contribution, it just can't be bigger than what Bellingham has already done. Do you agree?
Yeah, I kind of do. I mean, Gaza was my idol growing up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I look at what he'd done and how he played. I think Bellingham's better.
Talk Sport.
With your headlines at 1 minute past 10, I'm Nick Ellaby. Good morning. Big Dan Burn just won't stop defending. Now Tuchel's tactics. Why did he switch to a back five with England 1-0 up?
He'd done that in the last few games and we'd seen it out well, so I don't think that we can take massive criticism going into that. I think when we're in 4-4-2 defending, we're conceding a lot of chances, so something had to change, and as I said, we've been pretty solid when we went to a back five.
Mark Gay, though, said England should have kept pushing forward. Following Argentina's 2-1 comeback win, Tuchel told us he had no regrets about those defensive changes.
No one knows what would have happened if I put 3 strikers on. So if I put 3 strikers on and we lose the match, you will ask me the same question if I sent the wrong message.
However, these England fans in Atlanta don't see eye to eye with their manager.
Had we gone for it a little bit more after we'd scored, I think it might have been different.
Tuchel, we all thought he was a tactical genius, but today, I'm sorry, we surrendered the game.
We haven't shown up. What are we doing? What are we doing?
The FA are fully backing Tuchel to stay in the job till the next Euros. TalkSPORT's Jamie O'Hara wants him sacked.
This is what we brought you in for. We brought you in for this moment. We got rid of Southgate because he bottled it, because he weren't brave. We brought you in for now.
Meanwhile, Alessandro Martinez and Christian Romero have thanked Gary Neville for doing their team talk for them. Argentina's centre-back said they were on fire after Neville called them the best-worst pairing in the world. And to golf, round 1 at the Open at Royal Birkdale is underway. Englishman Alex Fitzpatrick is 2 under through 10, 1 shot behind early leader Thomas Detry. More at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
British Steel is now in public ownership, and communications regulator Ofcom launches an investigation into TikTok. Amelia's back at 5:30.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Keep summer journeys safe. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com to book your tyres, MOTs and servicing so you can drive away happy every time.
Cloud hanging around over North Sea coast, otherwise dry, long sunny spells, very warm, hot in the south, the far southwest, could get an isolated thunderstorm.
Hello, I'm Matt Forden from talkSPORT. This is how to win the World Cup.
This is the best squad I think England have ever had.
He used to love America, now he doesn't. It's very sad.
It was so important to succeed because of all the pressure we received.
Don't jump for this one, I'm going to knock his head off.
Warning, this podcast does not guarantee England will...
Yes, good morning, although of course it isn't unless you're Argentinian or Scottish. This is Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs with you through until 1 o'clock here on talkSPORT, where Andy, as if I didn't know what's coming up.
Yes, coming up over the next 3 hours, we'll pick through the debris of England's World Cup exit with our guests, including Alan Pardew and Tim Vickery, and of course you on the phones, emails, texts and tweets.
Yes, that's right. We want to ask you the question today. Do you still believe that Thomas Tuchel is the man to take England's men to a major title based on what you saw last night and indeed maybe throughout the tournament? But for what it's worth, I don't personally. We'll also discover the unlikely way in which Andy took out his frustrations on Argentina, a place he knows and loves, but in the moment you turned on them, didn't you, Andy?
Oh yes. Our own Max Scott will be out and about asking England fans that very question, and having slept on it, your commentator on talkSPORT last night, Jim Proudfoot, offers his own post-mortem.
Indeed he does. It is 5 minutes past 10. Good morning everyone, good morning Andy.
Morning, everyone.
Taxi for Thomas Tuchel. Taxi for Tuchel.
Yeah, well, that's not going to happen, is it? Let's be honest.
Should do, though, shouldn't it?
And I know, look...
He's going to get a deserved pile-on. That's the situation. He's already received that.
It's interesting when you reflect.
We did manage to find one person in Britain, though, Andros Townsend, who didn't agree.
Well, not just that. Well, a few people have said, I've watched it back and we feel he got it. We feel that Thomas Tuchel got it right. I think they're in the minority, and that's just not amongst fans. That's amongst, ex-players and managers and others. Alan Pardew's going to join us for a chat. It's going to be really interesting to get Alan's take on it. I know it sounds like he wants to come off his long run. He said, I've got something I need to get off my chest.
Yeah.
So we'll find out maybe a staunch defence of Thomas Tuchel's tactics. Well, that's not easy to say after not much sleep last night. I decided to go back through. Andy and I were kind of conversing on WhatsApp, and I'm sure you were all doing this, and I'm sure you've all gone back today and looked real time at what you were saying.
It's not hindsight, is it?
It's, it's not because we're tactical geniuses. I mean, if we were all being paid £5 million for coming up with this stuff, it'd be a joy, wouldn't it? So at 9:24, what's it, about 3 or 4 minutes after England scored, I think we could all see what Tuchel was thinking, which was, let's see if we can hang on to this. Against Argentina with over half an hour left of the game, and I sent you a message saying, surely we can't just sit on the edge of our box for half an hour, not against an attack of this quality. And then later on, we say, it's coming. We just cannot survive doing what we did against Mexico. I know it's not easy, but we have got no outball either. What's he trying to do? Unless we're incredibly lucky, incredibly italicised. And then you say to me, Watkins for Kane. And I said to you, not a bad call, but when you bring on Konsa for Gordon, you're kind of setting out your stall, aren't you?
Absolutely. That was the key one. The two later with 10 minutes to go, well,
that's what the book will be called. The book, when it comes out about the failure of Thomas Tuchel at big tournaments, it will be called Konsa for Gordon, or it'll be called 12%, the amount of ball we had after
such an indictment, isn't it? 12%.
So then I said to you, actually, if we are going to play like this, bring Dan Burn on, bring on Ed on a stick and go for it. And then I said to you, look, Spain don't do this. Spain didn't do this yesterday. I know they're better than us, but if we lose this, Tuchel was going to get so much clogged for trying to cling on for over half an hour. And then of
they
course...
had this little triangle, didn't they, in the right-hand side? They just allowed De Paul, allowed Messi to keep putting the ball in. And he did nothing about it. Honestly, it was a tactical
How many
disaster.
of you had similar exchanges with your mates? Let's have a show of hands. So that's a lot of hands.
Yeah.
So we weren't alone in this. And I said to you afterwards, that's what happens when you end up playing like a League One team who've gone one up during a third-round FA Cup game against Manchester United at Old Trafford. Let's get on the edge of the box, lads, seeing if we can hang on. It was like watching in real time, wasn't it? It was like watching an episode of Casualty. You know, the old deer on the bike's coming one way and the articulated lorry's coming the other way. And we all know what's going to happen, apart from the woman on the bike, who in this case was Thomas Tuchel and Anthony Barry. I mean, was Anthony Barry not... He seems a very bright guy. He seemed very prepared to come. Was he not saying, we can't be doing this, Gaffer, not for 35 minutes? He also had a hydration break within that. He had a chance to address it. And the idea is that, you look at coaches sometimes and you see them moving the players up and getting annoyed. There seems to be none of that. And if you're Kane and Bellingham and players like that, top-level players playing at top clubs, you look at the coach's substitutions and he's telling you what his tactics are. And you must think, is that it, Gaffer? Is that all? Is that our ambition? Is it really to park ourselves on the edge of the box, 5 at the back, and try and cling on against a team as good as Argentina and as resolute as Argentina, and they've proved it, and as robust as Argentina, who've kept coming back in games
to defend it? To try and defend his tactics, to not admit he got it wrong is even worse. Actually, it's so bad. He thinks he got it right, and he didn't.
Well, let's see what he said in March about Gareth Southgate, semi-trashing the legacy of a guy who got us a fairly long way in tournaments. In March, he said, the problem with England in the last tournament is they were afraid to drop out of the tournament, in my observation, and then they were having the excitement and hunger to win it. OK, well, did we have the excitement and hunger to win it?
We didn't need to get rid of Southgate for that. We could have just kept him and saved the money.
It's very easy to say at half-time in your first qualifying game, let's be prepared to lose, lads. Let's go out on our shield when you know you've still got to play Ghana and Panama. It's less easier to do that. As Gabby was saying, and everybody has said, that's why he's on the money he's on. That's why he was brought in. Those real pressure points in games to go one better than the other coaches, the ones that he's actually said have come up short. And he didn't, did he? He it sounds like, it looks like he froze, or he just decided to think we could do what we did against Mexico, which was nonsensical against a team like Argentina.
He got it wrong. He thought that we could do it, and we couldn't. That's it. He got it wrong, and he should admit he got it wrong.
I mean, it was kind of
if he doesn't admit it, then he'll just repeat it.
Look, I know that this is... I'm not doing this... I don't think I've ever been so annoyed about an England defeat, really. I mean, it's a slightly lack of sleep where it was churning over in my head all the time. But I'm sure a lot of people are feeling like this today because it felt like a real wasted opportunity. How often do England finish a game?
That was the one. It was a wasted opportunity.
And how often do England finish a game and you're giving the players a free pass? I think the tactics of the coach fed into the performance of the players.
We should also ask the listeners, has your football club tweeted out...
please stop it. Tottenham sending out, well done, Cootie. I don't want to know. Chelsea fans don't want to know how great Enzo Fernandez is. I know you're a global brand and all that, but read the room. The amount of clubs who are sending out messages.
And then a picture of Jordan Henderson consoling Bellingham, and Brentford said, "You gave it your all, Jordan. You weren't even playing. What are you talking about?"
It's just really the clubs. Nonsense. Just get off your social media. Give us just a break. We could just
it's
do
funny
without
with Fernandes, though. There are so many Chelsea fans who don't rate him. They're so stupid.
Yeah, no,
honestly. If you don't think he's a great player, you're an idiot.
It was very similar to the goal he scored against Kinski in that Spurs game towards the end of the season, wasn't it? It's fading away. I know that Pickford's had a lot of stick for it, but he does strike. I mean, ideally, a bit like Spurs should have closed him on the edge of the box.
Yep.
So the question is for you today. Do you feel that Thomas Tuchel is the man to take England to a major tournament? He's got to qualify for the Euros now, which the draw's not till the end of the year. It's not going to be difficult. It's going to be Andorra and Liechtenstein. Well, we'll learn nothing from qualification. So then we get to the finals and we play France or Spain in the semi-final, for example, at Wembley. Do you have faith, based on what you saw last night, that when he comes up against really, really good sides, he can get it right tactically? I mean, you could argue he'll learn a lot from this. His immediate response, which was pretty arrogant, suggests, and I listened to his interview with Faye, who put that question to him. Don't you think that your substitution sent a message, said Faye, to the players and he said, well, you can say that. He was a bit dismissive.
When you look,
I know he's in the moment, he's
hopefully
disappointed.
He'll go away, give it some thought.
I honestly think the FA won't sack him. They've invested too much time and money and reputation. This would be a disaster, having given him a new contract if they were to sack him. So they won't do that. You can forget that.
The bigger question is, where's Ross Kemp?
Well, exactly. Where is Ross Kemp in our moment of need? When we need his tub thumping to give us a lift today. But should he offer his resignation? I mean,
Ross Kemp?
No, yeah, well, both of them. They can go and see Bullingham together. I'll do no more of those stupid performative videos.
Yeah.
And but seriously, should he say, look, if we want to have a clean break now, I'll understand it. He can give all his reasons why, but they can say no. But I mean, ultimately, if you're him, you had one job and you've slagged off the last manager for not doing it, and you told him how to do it. So you can talk the talk, mate, but can you walk the walk? That's the question.
I did work out a Spanish version of "Can You Hear Me?" Winston Churchill, Maggie Thatcher, for Argentinian radio.
No. Anyway, let us know. Do you feel that he is the man? Do you feel confident still based on what you saw? And maybe other aspects of the tournament you did, but, when it came down to it, he came up short. 03717.
It's a shame because he did some good things.
He did. He did do some good things, but it was at the business end that he came in for. 03717 223344, talksport.com/H&J, text to 81089 or tweet to TSH&J. That's TSHANDJ. We've got the Open, of course, a welcome distraction taking place. It's underway. Rupert Bell, I'm sure, would have sat down and watched the football after his round at Formby. Hi, Rupert.
Yeah, and where I was watching it, they produced chip butties for food at half-time. It was the first time I've eaten a chip butty while watching the game.
Is it not the first time you've ever eaten? You've put some chips in some bread? Is that the first time you've ever done that?
First time. It's taken me well into my 7th decade, and I'm wished I hadn't broken my.
Oh really?
Had it for the first time.
It's a good combo.
Hated it.
It's a good one. I mean, it's all been caviar and kedgeree for you, Rupe, hasn't it, over the years? I would imagine.
Well, instead I went to Nelly's for an Indian down the road where they had the football on as well. So, so there we go. Anyway, that aside, and thank you, Paul, for the plea for a game of golf because I got one.
Oh, that's good. I'm really pleased. Yeah,
we were impressed.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah. So I went to Formby Hall, and actually, more importantly, I saw a 7-year-old who is the top-rated 7-year-old in this country, member of the Tommy Fleetwood Academy, and he was out driving me. I've never felt so embarrassed in my life.
And he tipped some winners at Cheltenham as well. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's right. And he's a really good commentator. Lizzie Kelly says she wants him to do Cheltenham next year.
Well, Young Darwin Fellows is a name we might have to remember in about 20 years' time. It was amazing watching him play. Anyway, that aside, watching the champions of today in action. Thomas Dietrich has got off to a great start. He was first out this morning at 6:30, 3 under through 15. Alex Smalley, the American, he's just played 4 holes, but he's had 3 birdies on his Open debut. Of the home challenge, Bob McIntyre is at 2 under, along with Alex Fitzpatrick and Dan Brown. So they're all going along really well. They've gone through their first 9 holes. Andy Sullivan is at the 14th, 1 under for his round so far. And Bryson DeChambeau, who's yet to make a cut in any major this year, well, he's just birdied the first hole to get to 1 under par. And Justin Rose is also at 1 under par after 2 holes of his opening round.
The Open Championship update on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark. Buy a used car and get a free 2-year service plan.
Bryson DeChambeau, that's of course Thomas Tuchel's Open player of the watch. Anyway, Alan Pardew's going to come off his long run, I'm guessing, because he wants to get something off his chest. And if you do as well, and tell us whether you think Thomas Tuchel is the man who can land a big title for England's men. 03717 223344, talksport.com. Text to 81089, tweet to TSH and J. We're here with our good friends at Selco Builders Warehouse. It's where the trade go. Seems to be in the fact that it was kind of a premeditated idea by Gabriel Clark to ask a question in a divisive way. You know him, you've done this job, so what did you make of the interview and what do you make of all the fallout from it?
Well, straight after the interviews, I sent Gabriel a text and I said, a masterclass in the art of post-match interviewing. And I would stand by that now. Gabriel's not a sensationalist. He's not out for headlines. He will look you in the eye and ask a straight question. Having been in that situation, I think he might have been slightly surprised when Tuchel came and said we were poor and we didn't do this and we didn't do that. That might have surprised him slightly, and he threw the mentality line in that Tuchel bit his head off about. But those situations, you've got a limited amount of time. There's no way that you're going to go, I'm going to ask him this and wind him up here, and then I'll get Bellingham. And by the way, what a story that's going to be. That's not Gabriel. Gabriel's the best in the business at doing that by a considerable margin and has been for many years. And when Gabriel put it to him, your manager wasn't very happy overall, and he shrugged his shoulders and said, whatever. Fine.
Do you think Gabriel could have qualified it a bit more? Maybe in hindsight, he thinks if he'd said the manager wasn't happy with performance, not in terms of effort, maybe in terms of quality, you can play better than that as a team.
I think you and everyone that's ever asked a question would look back and go, perhaps I could have asked that question a bit better. But in the heat of the moment there, in those bowels when the...
Hello, I'm Matt Forden from talkSPORT. This is How to Win the World Cup.
This is the best squad I think England have ever had.
He used to love America, now he doesn't. It's very sad.
It was so important to succeed because of all the pressure we received.
Don't jump for this one, I'm going to knock his head off.
Warning, this podcast does not guarantee England will actually win anything.
final, England have failed to stop this onslaught, and they've paid the penalty for just dropping back and allowing Messi to get on the ball time and time again.
England knocked out in the semi-final when they could see the final in their sights. I think Tuchel's got this tactically totally wrong in this semi-final.
Yes, time to look back on last night's epic semi-final between England and Argentina, Christopher Nolan's epic new film, The Odyssey. And let's hear from Thomas Tuchel, shall we? The man of the moment, the nation's favourite. He spoke to Faye Crothers. I heard this interview. I thought she did a great job with it, asked all the right questions, and included this one after they were dumped out of the World Cup.
Do you regret making that decision now?
No, I don't regret it. It doesn't help if you regret anything. You take the decision in the moment. Yeah, if you say it like this, it's a beautiful thing to simplify.
I'm not a football coach though, so I'm simplifying it from a
hindsight, and this is okay. You can do that, and I took the decision. I take the responsibility, but I will not now go to a hypothetical approach, because no one knows what would have happened if I put 3 strikers on. So if I put 3 strikers on and we lose the match, you will ask me the same question if I send the wrong message. So I try to help the team. That's my job. I cannot care about what other people in the end think about it. It's about I take responsibility for this. It's part of the job. It's no problem.
For £5 million a year, I'd expect some kind of middle ground between Rorke's Drift and 3 strikers up front.
Yeah.
So that's a stupid thing to say.
Ridiculous.
Also, the question you didn't hear there was the one Faye put, like I mentioned earlier on, which was not just the regret, but did you think it sent a message to your players, your substitutions? And you can say that if you like. It was a kind of dismissive kind of audio wave of the hand, which I thought was a bit much. Anyway, Alan, the England fan, has got a lot to get off his chest.
Caller.
The thing is, the difference is it happens to be the former Newcastle and West Ham manager, Alan Pardew. Good morning, Al.
Morning, guys. You okay?
The floor is yours. Take it away.
Well, what I thought I'd do was give you a quick analysis of what facts happened last night, and then you guys can chew over. So almost like a mini FA report, and you got to make your decisions, right? These are 5 facts that I thought I took from last night. First fact: Tuchel set up the team positive. Rodgers, Spence, Stones justified that call. Argentina looked rattled and overhyped. The referee was poor and was so lenient with continuous fouling. First half was intriguing, actually, and Anderson around Messi had worked, although disgracefully he got the first booking. Second period, we remained the same up until we scored from a long cane pass into a vacant channel that I suggest was a tactical decision. Our reaction to that goal was poor. Argentina fueled by a desire to push and work us over. And now the facts that are important, I think. Fact 2, had Scaloni covered the faults made by Mexico and Norway when England had taken the lead? And the answer to that is emphatically yes, he would have. I worked with him. There's no way he wouldn't have gone over those facts. They worked the back line by overloading the sides, now putting dipping crosses into our box and shooting from the edge. Goalie and post saved us before breakthrough. Fact 3, 72 minutes, 3 offensive changes by Argentina, which you would expect. We changed Konza for Gordon. Right there was our biggest mistake. No offensive substitution at that time. Playing a semi-final, and we didn't use Saka, by the way, who was fit, to give us an outlet. So no tactical tweak to control possession and clear our box. Fact 4, 82 minutes, we changed Byrne for James, O'Reilly for Rice. Rodgers went to wing-back, O'Reilly to midfield. Team were now completely hamstrung as offensive force. Fact 5, 2 players, Rodgers and O'Reilly, playing positions never ever played before. One as a wing-back and one as a tight man, 3 midfield. 85-minute goal, 93rd minute winning goal. 96 minutes, Rashford and Tony, far too late. And this is the conclusion that I would have at the end of my report. In the fog of war, reality was lost. Fear, mistakes, and a rational organisation for the team was lost. In truth, the manager fed a negative mindset.
Can't argue with any of that, Alan. I think that's
absolutely
just nail on the head.
Every point, absolutely.
Can you understand it? Can you, in part of the LMA, if you like, can you understand how in the fog of war he slightly lost the plot? Do you have some sympathy for it? Have you done it yourself, maybe?
Yes, I have done it myself. There's sometimes on the bench when the chaotic nature of a game, and particularly the type of game that was unfolding there, where you do lose your reality. And I lost it a couple of times. I like to think in big games, I didn't. I think that's what he's paid for, you know. So if I had a criticism of him, it would be that in that moment, which he'd have experienced many times before, by the way, I'm sure he got lost in the fog of war himself at Chelsea and et cetera, that he would have been more aware of it and made a change that would have changed the dynamic of the game. I actually thought, I don't know how you guys feel, I know there's obviously a lot of criticism this morning, but I actually thought the players come out of it with a lot of credit.
Sure.
I actually thought they did the job that was put in front of them. The only thing you could hold against them was the mentality of fear and the fact that they were dropping off. And I didn't think they got too much help on that front.
Yeah, isn't that set? That's right. Isn't that set by the coach? When the coach makes defensive changes, and when you see more, you know, the coach is basically telling you the way he wants you to play, isn't he?
Correct. That's why I said in the end of that thing that I think he fed that mentality rather than kind of try to change it. He kind of fed a mentality of fear, of like holding on, when really and truly, you know, Watkins or Saka to come on the pitch, as you was quite rightly said, Paul, just then, we didn't need 3 strikers on the pitch, but we needed an outlet. We needed some energy. We needed something to take the pressure off that back line.
Rashford would have been perfect. Did you ever, Alan, change your after-match reaction following a period of reflection? In other words, what I'm asking you is, do you think Tuchel may go away after a few days and think, you know what, I really did get that wrong? And I think people would appreciate it if he came out and said that.
Yeah. Well, I think there have been times in reflection that I've changed my mind. This is such a big decision for him to sort of go, look, okay, on reflection, maybe my changes didn't really help the team. I think that's possible from him. Obviously, we're going to have to go forward together. And I talk that as a fan and the England manager as he is and the FA. So I think there needs to be some bridges built with the public because you know, my assumption is a professional one, but I think if you can ask any person who's ever played football, non-league or is above the age of, I don't know, even 14, would say what went wrong last night was quite evident. And that, you know, it didn't quite work out. The tactical changes that the manager, who's highly paid, made.
That's the thing. It's not hindsight. It's not Captain Hindsight, this. I read out the conversation that Andy was having. All the pundits, all the journalists, all the fans were having the same real-time conversations. And obviously you're sitting there doing your report, making notes in real time. We could all see it. Everybody, it seemed, could see it, apart from the England coaching staff.
Well, I just think, you know, the way I tried to do that was facts. They were facts of the game. So it's not like, you know, it's an opinion or it's an assumption by me or by the pundits who have been chronicling what's gone on. They were facts. You know, if you think Argentina hadn't watched Mexico and Norway and the errors they made by putting deep crosses in, long crosses, bit desperate in times from positions that weren't going to trouble us and we headed everything away. You think Argentina hadn't watched that and gone, right, okay, if we get in this situation, what we've got to do is work the sides, get a bit closer to the goal and be patient. And that's exactly what they did.
Alan Pardew is with us, and we're going to talk about watching other teams' performances and how they react. Could we take in a little bit out of Spain's book from the game against France? We'll ask Alan if he feels we have the personnel and the tactics to do that, amongst other things. Don't forget, we'll hear from you. Do you feel that Thomas Tuchel is the man still to take England to the finals and hopefully win a senior men's tournament? If you do or don't, 03717 223344, talksport.com/H&J, text to 81089, tweet to TSH&J. We'll get the We'll get the news headlines for you next. But for now, that was our review of last night's epic semi-final between England and Argentina, in association with The Odyssey by Christopher Nolan. Don't miss one of the greatest stories ever told. So Matt Damon, Anne Hathaway, Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson, Zendaya and Charlize Theron, all to come in your local IMAX and cinemas everywhere from tomorrow.
Okay, you want to talk about Messi? Genuine question. Does Messi get in our team?
What do you mean?
Would you swap Bellingham for Messi?
Well, but he's not playing there.
Okay, would you swap Kane for Messi?
He's not playing there.
Okay,
he's a right winger.
Okay, he might get in that position. You wouldn't swap. You wouldn't swap Bellingham, would you? You wouldn't swap Bellingham for Messi. If I offered you the option now, Messi in, Bellingham.
Okay, yeah, but you'd move him around, wouldn't you?
No, but if you just give you that a trade, you give them Bellingham, we get Messi. Would you do it? Nah. Would you? You unpatriotic swine.
I didn't say yes. I didn't say no. But you're asking.
Would you swap Kane for Messi? If that was on offer now, just for this game,
a one-off game.
This game,
a one-off game.
This game on Wednesday night in Atlanta. I'll give you the opportunity to sub off Harry Kane from our starting lineup and bring in Lionel Messi. Do you do that? Absolutely not.
I think. Oh, come on, mate.
Today,
come on.
Harry Kane is a better footballer than Messi today. I'm not saying legacy. Lionel Messi is the greatest.
Lionel Messi is the leading goal scorer.
Lionel Messi is the greatest footballer to have ever lived. No doubt.
He is the leading goal scorer in this World Cup.
In his peak, no doubt.
I know, but
Kane is better than him today, isn't he?
I don't think you can say that.
There is a wane to Lionel. I don't think Messi. Lionel Messi. 08. If we're having this conversation, we're having this conversation. 09, when he destroyed Man United in Rome.
Play in this World Cup?
Yeah, I thought he was exceptional. I thought he was exceptional.
Did you watch Harry Kane against Norway? He didn't have his greatest game, did he?
No, he didn't. No, he
was
didn't.
Dead on his feet. Come on.
Look at his goals against Congo.
I know, but look at Messi's goals in the tournament.
Okay, I'll give you the option now.
All right,
cards on the table.
All right, go on.
Would you rather have Harry Kane in your style?
What is the World Cup's most controversial moment? Hurst's goal, which definitely was a goal. Zidane's headbutt. Ronaldo's hell scare in '98. Nah, it's obviously Maradona's hand of God. Mexico City, 1986. England are set to take on Argentina in the World Cup quarter-finals. Both sides have won their group, and both are well fancied to lift the trophy. This game means more. Just 4 years on from the end of the Falklands War, and the hatchet has very much not been buried. It's a physical match, with Diego Maradona taking the brunt of a strong-handed approach from England's defenders. Despite a few early chances from England, Argentina are well on top, but luckily for the Three Lions, Peter Shilton's having a good day between the sticks. At half-time, it's goalless. 6 minutes after the break, the ball was played to the edge of the area. Steve Hodge sliced his clearance, and it headed back towards his own goal. Up went Maradona's left hand, and he punched it into the net. He wheeled away in celebration, urging his teammates to join him, while the England team was furiously surrounding referee Ali bin Nasser of Tunisia. Even decades later, Peter Shilton hadn't forgiven Maradona. Argentina won 2-1 and went on to lift the World Cup trophy. I mean, without the hand of God, we might never have got the song Three Lions. But we'd have another World Cup.
Good morning, it's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs, and we are picking over the debris of England's defeat to Argentina, crashing out the World Cup at the semi-final stage once again. Andros Townsend offered an alternative take with Jeff Stelling and Gabert Bonneau on breakfast, defending Thomas Tuchel's changes after going 1-0 up.
To be honest, I disagree with 95% of all the stuff I've heard post-match.
Right.
I think what happened with England was the state of the game and the way the game went, not the way the manager set them out. You go positive and you almost concede. In your mind as a player now, you're thinking, we can't let that happen again. We're 1-0 up, half an hour away from World Cup final. We have to be a bit more smart, a bit more defensive. And I think those 5 minutes after England scored, what Argentina did really changed the course of the game rather than anything Thomas Tuchel did.
Never mind 95% of views. I'd say 99% of people won't agree with you.
Alan Pardew is with us. I mean, you can be smart and defensive without camping out on the edge of your own box in a 5, can't you, Alan?
Yeah, we just didn't have any control over the game. When I talk about retaining possession, having a kind of pass that was available to a player who was in trouble, we had none of that. We literally were clearing it. This started at 73, 74 minutes. So you're just never going to survive at that rate. I mean, Andros Townsend there, I think, is wrong. I don't think that's right. I don't think I take his point that sometimes you changed it offensively, you might, and you lose the game. And Thomas mentioned that opens up another level of criticism. But I think with the history of us in recent tournaments, Croatia, etc., the last thing we wanted to see was us getting ultra defensive, sitting back and letting the other team dominate. I mean, we got a history of it. You'd like to think we could turn it around in one particular occasion, which was an opportunity last night, which wasn't taken.
Can we contrast that with the way that Spain approached their game against France? A more potent, you'd say an equally as potent attack as Argentina's, you'd probably argue a greater one. They go 1-0 up. I mean, look, let's be honest, Spain are better than us, but the principle, I mean, they approached it differently and it was far more successful. Why?
Because they managed the game and they had a balanced team in terms of passing options. And if you haven't got a balanced team and you've got players playing out of position, as I said earlier in those facts, 2 players never played in those positions for their club, ever. So, you're trying to find a conundrum there that's not going to happen. Spain were a settled team, organised, confident, not got perhaps the history that we've got of conceding when winning, like as I mentioned before in previous tournaments under Gareth, where he was accused of being defensive. So, I just think, if you're going to change the historical part of what happens to a team, when you're talking about England, then it would have been better to lose the other way. Go offensive, have an options to play the game and keep the ball. And if we lose that way, I think we'd have all accepted it much more,
absolutely,
with grace.
I think another indictment is all my Argentinian friends, I had 3 that text me, they all said basically the same, thanks for playing into our hands. So they all knew.
Yeah, the players.
It's absolutely mad.
The players
you can't defend it.
The players said that. I mean, as we said, Lisandro Martinez, after finding the goal, they dropped back and they gave us more composure in circulating the ball and spreading the play. I mean, it was
just attack versus defence. It was bonkers.
It was. We could have put bibs on, couldn't we, for the last 20 minutes? It was kind of getting like that. I mean, you touch on the mentality problem.
12% possession is an indictment.
Thomas Tuchel pinpointed, and we gave you that quote from March where he said he felt England in the last tournament were afraid to drop out of the tournament rather than having the excitement and hunger to win it. So he knew what the mentality was and why the mentality was wrong. But in the moment, he kind of reverted to type, didn't he?
Exactly. That's exactly. He gave the answer himself of what all the English public wanted to see last night was, okay, we took the lead. Yes, great. Please, let's not sit on it. Let's not go back. We're not down to 10 men. We've not had a player removed from the pitch. We've got 11 players. Let's play a balanced game and hope that we can manage the situation and not stop a very good Argentinian team, by the way, from getting back in the game. I think, as I say, we would have all taken that much more with the good faith than what we're having to face this morning. Is memories of what's happened in the past, the criticisms that went to Gareth Southgate, perhaps unfairly as well, and now Thomas is going to suffer the same.
You've learnt from errors in your career, I'm sure, and as you said, you've reflected on things you got wrong in games and stuff. So what does he learn from this? And is he the right man? I've been asking this question. Is he the right man? Do you feel that he can win a major tournament with England based on what we saw maybe during this tournament?
Well, I like to think that, as I said, my first fact was that I thought he set the team up very, very positively. I quite liked the calls he made, and they were justified. For those three players, Rogers, Stones, and all played very, very well.
Yeah.
So I would suggest that he is intelligent enough to learn from it. Would he do it again in the next tournament? Would he? I can't imagine he would. So it might not be a bad thing to say, well, okay, Thomas, you might not hold your hands up to it at this particular time, and you might not do it later, but please don't do that again. When we get in that situation, let's try and do it in a way that makes us more offensive to try and go for a second goal without taking our eye off opening us up defensively. And I think the balance there is what was majorly wrong last night. We had no balance.
He is staying for the Euros. Well, he's certainly what the FA have said, and he's been given an extension. I mean, we'll have a pretty easy qualifying group, the way we always do. We'll find out in December, and then ultimately we probably will come up against the France or Spain in the semi-final, and that's where we'll be judging him, I guess, at Wembley. I mean, should he be given the chance to go into the Euros? Has he done enough in this tournament, in your eyes, to give him that chance to go again?
Well, in the aftermath of what happened last night, I'm guessing most British public would want him to go, but I don't think this is the right time to talk about it, really. I think we need to digest everything that's happened. I think it's quite obvious that he's heaped pressure on himself with the performance of his tactical decisions last night, and he's going to have to wear it. And that is part of growing as an England manager. Unfortunately, the major disappointment at a senior final. So my view at this time would be who would be better. What makes us think that another top manager would get in that situation and not do exactly the same? Would he learn from this? I think he will. So my view at the moment would be, okay, I do want to have a review with you, young man. And I want to talk it through with you. I'm talking about if I was the FA, but you're keeping your job for this moment.
Yeah, let's hope it is a learning experience. He comes out of it a better manager, and we go one better in the Euros. Alan, really enjoyed chatting to you during the tournament.
Yeah, thanks, Alan.
It's been a lot of
Great.
fun. You and Madge will be back on Sundays throughout the season, of course, won't you?
We will. We enjoyed our show Sunday. Please listen in, and it's lovely to speak to you guys. And thanks for having me on.
All the
Pleasure.
best. Cheers, Al. Thanks very much. There's
Thank you,
Alan Pardew.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed chatting to him, and those kind of in-running points. His FA report was fascinating. If you missed that, we'll have it in the H&J Daily podcast, which we'll bring you a little bit later on.
The
H&J Daily. I mean, honestly,
H&J Daily.
I've had a very fitful night's sleep, but this was just annoying me. So check out the latest episode of the World Cup Daily. I was listening to Adrian Stewart and Jim on the way home last night. I watched the game my oldest lad's place. I mean, this is the thing, I had to watch this game sober because I was driving afterwards. No. So yeah, I just came at this sober, went to bed sober. Maybe that's a good thing, I don't know. But it was a really interesting chat there after the game. Jim's going to join us now. He slept on it to reflect on last night. They look back on Tuchel's tactics, Messi's decisive impact, and whether the England manager's decisions were a sackable offence. That's the World Cup Daily, available on all podcast platforms now. We'll take some of your calls, emails, texts and tweets. Your reaction. Do you think Tuchel is the man? Interesting stuff from Alan there saying, hopefully he's learnt from it. Hopefully he is the man with that learning to take us into the Euros. Tell us what you think. 03717223344, talksport.com/H&J. Text to 81089 or tweet to TSH&J.
I was convinced by the hype train of France, and Spain, as you've said, sorry to steal it from you, have suffocated them for 9 minutes.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And look, I don't think that you need to either apologise or acknowledge that you got it wrong. I am the very definition of a broken clock being right twice a day. I thought Spain were going to win. I know how brilliant they are, and it's that control that they put into a game. It's that control. They don't let you breathe. They don't allow you any sort of momentum, and you can't get the ball off them. Like, if you think about England, like, the reason why I was so convinced Spain were going to win is because I was looking at this final, and I was looking at it perhaps prematurely through the lens of who I want England to play.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, who are England more likely to beat? And I was convinced that we're more likely to beat France. I'd kind of concede that we'd be underdogs against Spain or France. But I think our game would be more suited to beating France.
See, I disagree. I'd have rather played Spain, and maybe I've been hoodwinked by the fact that they drew against Cape Verde in the opening game, that they had Saudi Arabia, they're obviously going to beat them. They beat 10-man Uruguay 1-0. Uruguay stunk the place out. Marcelo Bielsa's destroyed and ruined his legacy.
Do you not just go back immediately to what happened in Berlin? When they were just too good for us.
Because I look at it and I think, this is the FA. I bet the FA are rubbing their hands at the prospect of potentially, we're not jinxing it, potentially playing Spain in a final, because it would vindicate their decision to hire Thomas Tuchel. There was lots of controversy about having a German in the seat, and I think he's got what it takes. He's got what Southgate didn't. Southgate's done amazing things. I believe we're standing on the shoulders of a giant in Southgate, what he did for England. But I think Tuchel's got the tactical nous and that edge and that aggression and that fight to get one over someone like Spain, whereas I thought France were going to be too much. But maybe I'm wrong.
Get ready to get that winning feeling with talkSPORT Win. This summer, talkSPORT is bringing you live and official coverage of every game of the FIFA World Cup 2026. And to celebrate, we're giving away £26,000 guaranteed. Go to win.talksport.com to enter now, and you could win 26 grand in your hand, tax-free. Enter now, and you could be the next to get that winning feeling, courtesy of talkSPORT Win. Find out how to enter now at win.talksport.com.
What do I say when it's all over?
It's a familiar story as the full-time whistle blows. No less painful for its repeated telling.
Sorry seems to be the hardest word.
No, I don't regret it. It doesn't help if you regret anything. You take the decision in the moment.
It's sad, so sad, with the sad situation.
You don't ever want to leave the field thinking, I should have done this, I should have done that. Why didn't I do that?
Let's face it, Argentina were the better side.
Well, 56 minutes after England scored until 90 plus 2, when Argentina went 2-1 up. It's a 36-minute period. England had 12% possession.
And I can tell you, if it was still Gareth Southgate in charge, he'd get absolutely ruined.
Yeah, you're not wrong, Adrian.
Such an indictment.
Jim Proudfoot joining us later. Tim Vickery joining us later as well. I think he's of a similar opinion, really, that we completely played into Argentina's hands. And they were the best team overall to come back and do what they did. But at the point we scored the goal, there was nothing in it. And we'd been playing well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mark Gay was interesting as well afterwards. He said England should have carried on pushing. The mentality was to go back and defend. The players will be regretting it.
Oh, yeah.
And it was shaped by the substitutions. Let's hear from you then. Craig is in Peterborough. Hello, Craig.
How we doing, guys? You okay?
Yeah, not great, and probably much like yourself. So, what was your take on last night? And do you still have faith in the manager?
No, absolutely not. And I'll go back before last night, even against Norway, right? He made the wrong substitutions against Norway and had to make more substitutions to change that again. He brought Eze in at 10, where you'd think Rodgers would be more suited. Eze was having a mare in the middle. He had to bring Gordon off probably 15 minutes earlier than we wanted to push Eze wide to put that right. He was making errors before last night. However, it's very easy when you win and get to a semi-final to forget about that. But last night is unforgivable. We are absolutely matching them in every way. That's a 50-50 game at the point where we then take our chance, and fantastic, right? We can actually do this because we've got Anderson is taking care of Messi. Everything is absolutely perfect. All right, they're going to come at us a little bit more, but if you keep the pace wide, you've got outlets. Not a problem. Like, absolutely, it was easy. It was easy just to carry on. What is he thinking? What is he thinking in doing that? But worse, you know what? Worse than making that error, because we can all get a little bit excited at times. Worse than making that error was the massive change in momentum. The 4 and 5 warnings where it was Pickford saved us, the poster saved us.
Yeah.
It's just coming at us.
Yeah.
Change it back. Change it. That's the really unforgivable part. You've got away with it, and you can change it back, and we can go again. But you've not. You've doubled down. You've doubled down on it. We brought on 115 centre backs and not winning a header at the back. Everyone can say Argentina deserved to win. They didn't deserve to win up until the point where we gave them the game.
No.
It's unforgivable.
The damage was done in terms of the momentum shift. I think when they're hitting the post, and as you said, Andy, that Pickford's almost having his Banks moment with that save, that the momentum shift was such that we almost couldn't get it back. We'd made we hadn't made those substitutions. We could have done something about it. And you mentioned the outball. That's the one that I don't think if you're going to sit deep, you've got to have someone with legs, Rashford or Saka, just to have a chance, just to take the pressure off for 5 minutes. And he didn't do that. Craig, thank you. Let's have a chat with Sonny, who's a Liverpool fan. Hello, Sonny.
How you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, we're not bad. So, again, are you keeping the faith with Tuchel? Do you feel he can learn from it last night?
Do you know what? The other night when we played Norway, he was banging on about the mentality. You can bottle it up. But he showed no mentality with his substitutions.
Good point.
72 minutes, you make a sub. And it's going to be 7-8 minutes at it. So you're looking at 30 minutes, half an hour extra altogether. And you want to bring on Konsa, fine, I get it, but at least do it at 80, 82 minutes. Let Argentina wonder, hang on, we're 1-0 down. You never know, they might do some stray passes or anything, but you give the best player that's ever lived that much time on the ball with 30 minutes to go. You're asking for trouble. You're bringing on, we was all rooting for when Dan Burn come on. I mean, we ain't been great all tournament. We was known for our defensive display against Mexico. We couldn't even put a set piece together throughout the tournament. I think I counted only 2 times we beat the first man. It was ridiculous. Now, if this was Southgate, we were sitting there saying out. I'm not saying out. I'm just saying, own up to it. You was quick to one about this mentality stuff. Yeah. It's ridiculous. We watched the whole season of the Premier League like this. Right?
That's a really good point. I think Gabriel Clark, you interviewed him last night. He would have been in with his rights to say, you made a lot of defensive substitutions, Thomas. What was that? Mentality? It might have been an interesting thing to have said to him, because his mentality was defensive.
It was just literally so negative, and it weren't a case of, look, we weren't the best team on the night because we just sat back. We did not know what to do. The stats show that itself. Yeah. And I'm also sick of seeing Harry Kane come into a centre midfielder role or defensive midfielder. You're a striker. You ain't got the pace.
Although we don't score the goal, Sonny, unless he does that. He was so desperate to get on the ball. That was the thing.
But if you're going to revert back to playing this 5-3-2, then put some pace on the wing. Put Saka on. Therefore, fullbacks were there for the taking.
I know, and their 2 centre halves. Their 2 centre halves were on bookings as well, and we didn't lay a glove on them. We did not lay a glove on them.
Card. Romero's prone. Stay up top. Be on him. Stay on him. But no, we lost about. Even put Eze on in the midfield. Put a bit of creativity in the midfield. Do something different. Yeah. But no, it was the same old stuff. Let's just park the bus.
Sonny, good man, Sonny. Thank you very much for your call. That's Sonny.
I've had a lot of texts from Wally Downs who text me about
the former Wimbledon and Brentford manager and West Ham coach.
Man, total football man. Amongst the things he said, they wanted a clear path with the ball. We gave them that by dropping. First half was bitty, in and around each other and fouling. Didn't suit the Argies, and Messi really got on the ball. They minced their way to our box and played from there. They hated the first half, which suited us.
It did. And so no, it wasn't all bad. As Alan said, he set the team up well. He made bold choices. Spence was back and justified his inclusion. That's right. The Jed Spence, who was a disgrace and didn't deserve
He done
a place in the
Gordon
squad. That
instead of
Jed
Conte
Spence,
for
folks.
Gordon. That would have been a much better move.
Yeah. So he made a lot of right decisions, but in the big moments, in the key moment and with the big decisions, he massively came up short. And we haven't seen a great deal of humility. I suppose you wouldn't expect that. You're going to get disappointment. But and I think you're right, Andy. In the fullness of time, we want to see a bit of reflection. I heard Gab saying he maybe needs to do a sort of sit down, hopefully with Faye or someone else.
You just know Spain, if they're 1-0 up with 15 minutes to go, will not do that.
No, won't do that. No, absolutely not. And it'd be interesting to talk to Tim how he thinks Spain might match up with Argentina. Keep the calls coming. We've got loads of emails.
Still wouldn't back against Argentina.
No, nor would I. I mean, they are just
mentality
street fighters,
monsters.
metaphorically and physically, as they proved in the first half. 0371722 3344 talksport.com/H&J. Text to 81089. Tweet to TSH&J. Keep reflecting on England crashing out of the World Cup. Thomas Tuchel tactics, and the big question, whether you feel he is still the man to win a title for England's men in a major tournament.
Wow. Performance of the tournament. France absolutely didn't do anything. Had a nightmare performance. Yeah, whimper without no fight. But Spain, wow. That was watching Pep Guardiola's Barcelona, that was. The way they were popping that ball past France to death. France couldn't handle the passing style of Spain. They weren't pressing as a team. You saw a team there in Spain, and you saw France with superstars that all had a nightmare of a game. And very poor performance from France. I'm sure they're going to be getting a lot of stick. Luckily, we got Emmanuel Petit on at the end of the show, and he's going to be thinking to himself, didn't see that coming.
I couldn't stop thinking about Manu last night.
Yeah,
I thought, oh my. Even the show yesterday, I felt that we had such a build-up in favour of France. Have we completely underestimated Spain?
We've underestimated them, but rightly so, in the sense of their performances in this tournament. You know, they haven't performed to the level they did last night. Sometimes we talk at start of tournaments that it's not about how you start a tournament, it's how you end them. And Spain have proved that. Drawing 0-0 to Cape Verde, and some of their performances haven't been exciting. Even the win over Portugal wasn't their greatest performance.
Yeah.
But they've kept their best form for the semi-finals, so it's going to be a scary final, whoever plays Spain. Because the way Rodri and Fabian Ruiz controlled that game, Cucurella looked like the best left-back in the world last night. The way he kept Elise quiet, that was a shadow of Elise we've seen this whole tournament. Dembele, Mbappe, Barcola, Doué, they had nothing for an organised Spanish side.
Really, I was in shock.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of us just couldn't believe what and we shouldn't be, because it's Spain. They're the current European champions.
Talk Sport.
Video headlines. Just gone 1 minute past 11. I'm Nick Ellaby. Good morning. Dan Burns defended Thomas Tuchel's negative tactics after England's disappointing defeat to Argentina. He says the switch to a back five had been working well.
The manager may want to have done something in hindsight, but also from the players that we've got to take responsibility to get through. Sort of being 10-15 minutes away from a World Cup final. We really probably should have seen that out.
Following the 2-1 loss, Thomas Tuchel told us he has no regrets over those defensive changes. Mark Gay didn't sound too convinced.
Kind of felt like we scored and then the mentality was go back, defend. So yeah.
The FA are fully backing Tuchel to stay in the job until the Euros, but Gabby Agbonlahor calls Tuchel cowardly.
I can't blame the players. I'm hearing people say, Jeff, that, the players on the pitch have got to make decisions, there's some experience. No, you listen to your coach. Your coach tells you to play a certain formation. You listen to him. Yeah. He has to go, simple as that.
Meanwhile, Argentina's centre-backs have thanked Gary Neville for getting them fired up. It's after Neville called Lisandro Martinez and Cristian Romero the best-worst pairing in the world. After the game, Martinez was one of the players holding up a sign saying the Falklands are Argentine. The islands are a UK overseas territory. FIFA bans political messaging and is likely to fine Argentina, but not till after the World Cup. Hearts and Scotland goalkeeper Craig Gordon has retired from football at the age of 43, and at the Open, Belgium's Thomas Detry shot a 3 under 67. Scotland's Bob McIntyre, England's Daniel Brown and the USA's Alex Smalley also on 3 under, but yet to complete round 1. Live commentary from Royal Birkdale is over on talkSPORT 2.
talkSPORT News.
British Steel is now in public ownership, and a British mum is on the run with her 2 sons after taking them away from their American dad. Amelia's back at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. This summer, treat yourself to Bridgestone Turanza All-Season 6 tyres with a 25,000 mileage guarantee. Book today at quickfit.com. Conditions apply.
Dry with long sunny spells, very warm, hot in the south. The far southwest, though, could get an isolated thunderstorm.
Get ready to get that winning feeling with talkSPORT Win. This summer, talkSPORT is bringing you live and official coverage of every game of the FIFA World Cup 2026. And to celebrate, we're giving away £26,000 guaranteed. Go to win.talksport.com to enter now, and you could win 26 grand in your hand, tax-free. Enter now, and you could be the next to get that winning feeling, courtesy of talkSPORT Win. Find out how to enter now at win.talksport.com. Win 26 grand in your hand, courtesy of talkSPORT Win.
Well, one way to soften the blow of England's defeat last night is a bit of cold, hard cash. What about 26 grand in cash, completely tax-free, in our competition? Andy, how can we win that and cheer ourselves up?
Need about 260 grand. For your chance to win, visit talksportwin.com or text WIN to 83338 by 6 p.m. on the 20th of July 2026. Text costs £2.50 standard network rate. Must speak instead of making noises. Or send your name and number by post to Comp 1 PO Box 3190 Colchester CO2 HEP to arrive by midnight on the 23rd of July 2026. 18 plus UK residents only. For your chance to win, text WIN to 83338 now. It's a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksportwin.com.
I quite like the rhythm of your noises in the competition. Not great if you're trying to ring the phone number or anything, but apart from that, it's just a beautiful song.
Honestly, I've had enough of classic views from tactical geniuses who think they know more about it than anyone else. Oh no, they were right to go.
There's quite a lot of chin-strokey revisionism. I've watched the game back 9 times now.
Yes,
and I felt Tuchel got it right. Well,
he didn't.
You're wrong. Anyway, let's check in at the Open. And Gabby Partington joins us. Hi, Gabby. Did you watch the match last night with Rupert?
Hello. No, do you know what? Rupert's not been inviting me anywhere he goes. He managed to get around at Formby Hall. Do you know what I mean? They kept that quiet. He kept that to himself. So I saw them do that.
What a
then
team player.
What? This is what I'm saying. I was like, I know we're working in golf and it's an individual sport, but come on now. There wasn't enough room for a 3-ball, so they made it a 2-ball with producer Scott and... left me on my own, but I did go out into Liverpool.
Oh, okay.
So
well, every cloud and all that, yeah.
Every cloud. It was kind of like a swimming pool on the floor after the first goal,
right?
And then it dried up pretty quickly.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah. So, where did you guys watch it?
I watched it at my son's place. You watched it at home, didn't you? Watched it sober. Tremendous. How's the golf going, Gabby?
Yes, you may have just heard on the news it said that Dan Brown had a 3-way lead. Unfortunately, he's just given one back. You also may remember that he actually had the early lead at the Open Championship in 2024 in Royal Troon. That's where he really made a name for himself. But he's a shot behind the leaders. Thomas Detry, he's in the clubhouse, 3 under par 67, the first, because he was the first group to go out. And he's actually alongside Robert McIntyre and Alex Smalley. Alex Smalley, another player, he's actually making his debut at the Open Championship. He had a great run at the PGA Championship last year and this year as well, where he actually finished tied second. So he seems to be producing at the majors, doesn't he, this year so far. Nick Taylor, just as I speak, has just made a birdie and he's joined them. He's 3 under through 3 holes, so what a great start. He's having the Canadian. And then in tied 5th, we've got some big names, just a shot back off the lead. Victor Hovland, and then the defending champion, as dangerous as he always is. I know we missed the cut last week in Scotland, but it's given him a little bit more time this week to kind of prepare. And as you can imagine, a defending champion at a championship like the Open, he's got a lot of different tasks and stuff to do around the golf course. So he feels prepared. He is 2 under so far, just a shot back. As is Bryson DeChambeau, who you may know has also missed 3 cuts this year in all majors. So he's got off to a better start too. It's looking good as well, lads, for the English names out there. Alex Fitzpatrick, who's had a great run this season on the PGA Tour, hasn't he, when he's got his card, as well as Jordan Smith too, and Tyrrell Hatton, who's amongst a big group at 1 under par 2. So I'm sure all those English names will want to be the next name to lift the claret jug, because the last person that was Sir Nick Faldo in 1992.
The Open Championship update on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark. Choose from over 20,000 used cars online and score your dream car today.
Thank you very much, Gabby. Back to the guys at the Open later on. We're going to have a chat with Graham Scott, the former Premier League referee. Alan Pardew, in his little FA report there, his manager's report, touched on the weak refereeing that could have been dealt with. It was quite ironic that Elliot Anderson got the first yellow. It was a yellow, but wow. I mean, we'll come on to the referee with Graham Scott and look at who's likely to referee the final.
Not the reason we lost.
No, it's absolutely not the reason we lost, but, you know, it does kind of set the... I mean, why was he having a fight? He sort of stood there having a 2 or 3 minute audience with Messi at half time. I think Kane came over and said, hang on, what's going on here? You know, you can't have your ear for... I mean, was he trying to get some shirts?
Messi does a lot of that, though. He does.
I know he does, but Messi's never lost a game where he's been in charge. I'm not saying that's why they lost, but, you know, some people can be fanboys, can't they?
I bet his kids have got his shirt on the wall.
Yeah.
There's no question about it.
Anyway, that's not the reason we lost, and we're not saying that. Let's have a chat, shall we? With Ben, the Villa fan. Hello, Ben.
How you doing? All right?
No, much like yourself, I'm sure.
No, I know. Just a few things about after the debacle last night. You got the 2 centre-backs on yellow cards, so we decided to shut up shop, throw on Rashford, throw on Watkins, take Kane off at half-time. He done nothing. He was absolutely out on his legs. But my 2 real things are, how many of the players in the coming weeks are going to turn around in the press and say, we weren't fit, we shouldn't have gone? Same as Beckham and Owen done a few years ago.
I don't think players, it's not so much they weren't fit. I think, it's pretty clear from the Arsenal fans would have watched this tournament through the cracks of their fingers, wouldn't they? You look at their players, they either weren't at it, really, like Gabriel, they've got injured.
Like Rice.
Our producer's an Arsenal fan telling me this could be 5 months for Saliba, which is
Odegaard was all right, but he'd hardly played, and that's the difference.
Declan Rice was flogged. Probably the reason he picks up that bug is that, he's just below par and he's run down.
Emotionally
Saka wasn't at it.
It was a big season.
I mean, that's I'm sure the Arsenal fans won't care but in the long run, I think that was pretty damaging to him, wasn't it? But Ben, there we are. Thank you.
Thank you.
I can't disagree. The only thing I can disagree with, if we take Kane off at half time, we don't score the first goal.
No.
And I don't think he went quite that early, but certainly in the last 15 minutes, as Andy said, you could have made a case for Watkins. A lot of people saying that, getting in touch today. A lot of people feel it would be time for a change. Pep, surely time for Pep, says Simon Baldwin, and a lot of others.
He's not going to do it, though, is he?
And also, Pep in big moments, in big finals, in big games, all coaches can come up short, can't they? It happens.
Yeah, in general, it didn't happen with him.
It didn't happen quite so much, but it can happen. Sack Tuchel now, we're getting a lot of those. Tuchel was brought in, he was an elite manager, we were told. Don't worry about, and he will learn and we'll get better nonsense. Anyone could have achieved what he did at this World Cup.
Till the goal. That's the annoying
Yeah,
thing.
that's it. That's the sense of a wasted opportunity, definitely. Let's have a chat with Paul, the Wolves fan. Hello, Paul.
Hi, gents.
Yeah, good man for not asking how we are, because we feel exactly the same as you do today.
Well, I'll be honest, I followed England. I've been to South Africa, been to Wembley, obviously. But I'm looking at it different to you guys. I agree with Andros Townsend.
Wow. Okay,
Guys,
well, tell us why. We're all ears.
Well, yeah, I'm looking at it with my head, not my heart, because I think a lot of people are looking at it with their hearts, because we just lost to a team with Messi, one of the best players ever. They're full of talent. We weren't as good as them. Your own commentator said at the end, the best team won. The best team won. Now, if he'd have attacked and put 3 up front or something stupid like that, we could have easily been beaten by more. They'd hit the post twice, I think.
That's not what we
that was at the stage we were already defending. I mean, there is a middle ground, as we said to Alan Pardew. There is a middle ground, isn't there, between sticking 3 up top and sitting on the edge of your box, and that's why he's paid £5 million a year.
Them onto us. Even Argentina have said that's exactly what we wanted England to do. So I'm not agreeing.
I mean, we played into their hands.
Played into their.
Paul, I don't think we are thinking with our. I don't think we are thinking or talking with our hearts. We all saw it in real time, didn't we?
Don't you think the team that's going to win the World Cup should be able to defend for 25 minutes? Against whoever.
You've just said they've got the best player in the world and they're a great attacking team and they were the best team. So possibly the worst thing to do, if you can do it against Mexico, you can probably do it against Norway, even with Haaland, who wasn't having his best game.
That was
risky. Can't do it against Argentina with the threat that they pose.
You're missing some of the key points. They've played 81 games and lost 5. This is one of the top elite teams.
Yeah.
England were not as good.
I know they're not. They were up until the point.
Doesn't mean you've got to give them the game, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't mean
you haven't made any point that's made us think. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry, I don't agree with you, and I don't agree with Andros Townsend. It's just wrong.
I just think, Paul, we played into there. There must be a part of you that makes you think
they loved it. That's exactly what Messi wanted us to do. What we did,
guys. You've said yourself that they all look like they were flagging. You've had loads of guys coming on slagging off Kane, who set up the goal, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I do agree. The players looked out on the feet. So what do? Put someone on who's going to be attack-minded, and you've got players already out on the feet, or do we try and defend it? I understand what people are saying. We could have gone the other way. He's tried what he's done before, and it's just not come off, and we've lost to a team that's. They just won the last World Cup.
Yeah.
They're elite players with one of the best players in the world.
They're very, very good.
Look, they are a good side. No one is doubting that.
No one's saying that.
Paul Goodman, thank you. So an alternative take.
Yeah.
I mean, we should have brought on one player who could have been an outball to just take some of that pressure off at times.
How many times did we just boot it away? And
and there was nobody there. We had. I mean, I take players were tired, but Rashford was there to come on. Saka was there to come on. Watkins was there to come on, just to give us an opportunity. One of those players, just one of those players. You could see Bellingham playing on the left, absolutely flogged, just running it into corners, hoping for the best and having the ball taken off of him. It was just nuts. Anyway, we are going to talk about the referee, and we're going to be joined by Tim Vickery, who watched that car crash unfold. We'll get his take on the game. He's going to join us next. We're here with Selco Builders Warehouses, where the trade go.
Couldn't get anywhere near Spain, could they, in the midfield? Do you think that the manager should have made a change at half-time? Maybe Digne come off for Hernandez, and also maybe an extra midfielder come on for an attacker?
Well, the fact that Rabiot left at the halftime because he received straight away, yellow card. He was probably our best player on the pitch for the first 45 minutes. But anyway, you could have changed the entire team, against Spain in the halftime. It would have changed nothing. So I think we looked so nervous, so far away from our level. Tactically and technically, we were so poor. Credit to Spain. They really deserve to win. They play really well. I thought that we were different with what happened, 4 years ago, but it was kind of the same game, and they control everything. We had no inspiration, no creativity, no personality, and it was so sad to watch them because I had the feeling watching the game that it was kind of the same game against Morocco, but.
Do you know what was baffling me, Emmanuel, was whenever you won the ball back, just give the ball away cheaply. Everybody was. No shots on target.
We were so far away from each other, Yeah. So, I think tactically we lost the game, but technically as well, we were so poor,
Get ready to get that winning feeling with talkSPORT Win. This summer, talkSPORT is bringing you live and official coverage of every game of the FIFA World Cup 2026. And to celebrate, we're giving away £26,000 guaranteed. Go to win.talksport.com to enter now, and you could win 26 grand in your hand, tax-free. Enter now, and you could be the next to get that winning feeling, courtesy of talkSPORT Win. Find out how to enter now at win.talksport.com. Duracell's Extra Mile on talkSPORT. Different, better, unstoppable.
Yes, in the body of our chat with our good friend Tim Vickery, we will be asking Tim to pick his man of the match, that player, Duracell's Extra Mile, that went the extra mile, the player that brought a game-changing performance and unstoppable.
He won't be wearing a white shirt.
I'm guessing not, although the players in a lot of ways getting a pass after what we saw last night. Let's see what Tim makes of it all, our South American correspondent. Hi, Tim.
Good morning. It's morning over there, isn't it? Good morning to you.
It's morning. It's not a good one. I've seen some of your comments online, and I can't disagree with any of them. The Argentinian players have basically said, we cannot believe that they played into our hands. I mean, that's, I think, is your view, isn't it, Tim?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, there's maybe... I remember talking to Brazil's best player in the 1950 final, and he told me, we went 1-0 up and our team died. We just suffered a collective loss of pressure when we went 1-0 up. And maybe something like that happened with England. They weren't prepared to win. And so England went very, very deep before Tuchel started with the substitutions. I'm seeing some people are trying to justify them based on that. But it's up to the coach to counteract that tendency, isn't it? You know, and I just couldn't believe when he took off the only out ball he had, took off Gordon, brought on a defender. And now you're going to be pinned back because now there's no out ball. Now there's no one. Then it can't be on the players because any player on the ball doesn't have anyone to give it to get out and up the field. And what amazes me is that I think Argentina were there for the taking at that point.
Yeah.
When all of the shenanigans that went on early, right from the start. This is planned. I thought Enzo was lucky to get away with that elbow in the
absolutely.
But they planned, and right at the start, Paredes barges into Bellingham.
Yeah.
All of this is planned because Argentina were worried. They don't do this when they've got the rhythm going. They don't do this last half hour, do they?
No.
Because last half hour, they have got the ball. And they want that ball to keep rolling as much as possible. It's pass. But to start with, They don't fancy that. They don't think they can do that. So what do? Just interrupt the rhythm as much as possible because they're worried. And you can see every time England run at them and run at them with pace, they're really worried there. And England then go 1-0 up. Both the Argentina centre-backs are on a yellow card. They've got to Argentina have to make attacking changes. So the first one that goes, first one is replaced is Paredes, the holding midfielder. You're thinking they're wide open. They're there for the taking. And you look at the England bench and it's so full of potential outballs.
Sure.
And none of them come on. So I find it absolutely baffling. Producer there was just asking me about reaction in Brazil, which is very mixed because there are some who are behind Argentina and there were some who really don't want Argentina at all. But there's one thing that is bringing England and Brazil together, and that is both of them brought in elite coaches from abroad, and both of those elite coaches have distinguished themselves with absolutely disastrous substitution.
You can't underestimate Argentina's mentality, though, Tim, can you? I mean, this is a team, they know how to win. They know how to win semi-finals, and they play beyond them. I mean, De Boer plays for Boca. I mean, the standard he plays in week to week is rubbish, basically, compared to Europe, and yet bloke stood out, came on and looked brilliant.
Tim, there was a quote from Scaloni I want to run past you, and it surprised me. I don't know what you think. He said, this is a great Argentina thing, but his actual quote was, this team were raised in an environment where they feared nothing. They don't feel the weight on their shoulders. And I thought, surely they must feel an incredible crushing weight on their shoulders when they play, but they just manage it well.
Yeah, and he started that quote with they're Indians, which is causing some. What he means is they're warriors.
Right. Okay.
That they've all come up. They've all come up the whole way. And remember, they've got the winning habit. I mean, this is like the great Spain team of 15 years ago. It's not only the World Cup; it's a continental trophy either side. They won 2 Copa Americas and a World Cup, so that they've really, really got the winning habit. And the lack of panic was extraordinary, wasn't it? You know, they're under scoreboard pressure, they're under time pressure, and so often in that situation, you see the crosses overhit and hurriedly hit and so on. But they're calm when they were backs to the wall was extraordinary. So yeah, they really have the winning habit, and during the course of this World Cup, they rediscovered it. That kind of competitive spirit, because for a long time after Qatar, it's all been exhibition match, lap of honour stuff. And they went into the World Cup a little bit like that as well. And even like the group phase was easy, so they could coast through. The Cape Verde game, the first knockout game, there was a little bit of exhibition stuff. Yeah, we can coast through. And then suddenly they found themselves in problems. And then suddenly in that game, they rediscovered their competitive spirit. And it's that plus flashes of genius here and there. It's that has hauled them all the way to the final.
Do you think they'd rather have faced France than Spain in the final? Because I think, France would have come at them. Spain, I think, will be more tricky for them.
Yeah, I think so. Yes. I think Spain is because there is no way on earth that Spain are going to do what England did.
No.
There's no way.
Well, they proved it the night before with exactly the same scenario, Tim.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, exactly. So France, I think France would have been tricky as well. I mean, the thing that they did to France in the final in Qatar was Di Maria. They unleashed Di Maria, and in a way that no one had expected. They unleashed him down the left against Argentina, France's right back, and no one had expected that. And that kind of took the game away from France. It took France a long time to get into the game. Well, they don't have Di Maria, so I don't know what the surprise would have been against France. The hope that maybe they'll have against Spain is that I think Spain struggle a bit more than France to score goals. The semi-final, it was the best by far collective team performance of the tournament. I think Spain against France, what they did was extraordinary. But they got a little bit lucky with the opening goal, the penalty, because they hadn't created anything. It's an overhit cross, and it's a little bit unfortunate from Digne, the left back, who gives away a penalty. But it wasn't a chance that had been created. It was one of those random moments, and that got them ahead. And sometimes Spain can struggle a little bit to transform their superiority into goals. And while you don't put Argentina to bed, Argentina's still well and truly alive.
When we asked you to pick your Duracell extra mile player, you went with Angel Di Maria, who hadn't played for 2 years, because you said Messi was spotting the fact that he had to drift right because Di Maria wasn't there. And what did he do last night? Spent a lot of time on the right putting in. I mean, we all know he can deliver a ball, whether it's a shot or a pass, but we saw with his crossing and his delivery, he kind of
off either foot.
Did that again, did he?
Yeah, off either foot.
Yeah.
I mean, the one that wins the game is off his right. You know, some people criticise him for being very, very left-footed, but it was a beautiful cross on his right. And Lautaro, who scored the goal, saying Messi just kept on saying to him, "Get in between the defenders. Get in the space between the defenders, and I'll find you." And he did. He did. So I can't give this one to the ghost of Di Maria. You know, Scaloni said something really interesting. He said, people always talk about how everyone, all the members of the team, they want to do it for Messi, and this is our secret. They want to do it for Messi. They don't spin it around the other way, and it's the responsibility that Messi feels to do it for the others. And I think that's a big part of it. In his own way, this has been the big secret of the Scaloni years. This remarkable run of success for a team that before they hadn't won anything since the Copa America of 1993. He has brought Messi into the group because Messi, up until that point, Messi very self-contained, a little bit quiet, and I think that had quite a big intimidating effect on other people in the squad. And all they wanted, all the other people wanted, all the teammates wanted, was Messi's approval. And if he doesn't say anything, you're thinking, well, maybe he doesn't rate me, maybe I'm not that good, maybe. And Scaloni managed to change that, brought him right into the centre. And one of the first things that Scaloni did, this is back in 18, he wouldn't pick Aguero for a while Aguero was still really firing. And the thought process there was, well, Aguero is Messi's old mate. Messi only ever speaks to Aguero. Yeah. Let's take Aguero out of the mix and make Messi speak to the others. And at that point, I think Messi he was starting to fall out with Barcelona. I think he'd identified that his priority from then on was going to be the Argentina national team. And I think he had to think as well, what do I need to do? What do I need to change in order to change my fortunes with the Argentina national team? Because remember, it's a decade ago now, a Copa America in the States. After they'd lost on penalties in the final, Messi retired from international football. So we might not have had this decade. And I know, from the point of England fans, it hurts that we have today. I think football has been all the better for the fact that he did play on for Argentina, and Argentina found a way to get him into the group, because when they do fire, England let them back in, no doubt about it. But my God, they battered England for the last half hour, didn't they?
Absolutely. It's a tough watch.
But it was really noticeable. Every time Messi was fouled, all the players came around him and made a big thing, as if they were protecting him.
That kind of got Elliot Anderson, that booking, the fact they all got in there. You kind of felt if we'd crowded around the ref a bit more at times, they might have picked up an earlier yellow card. But that, again, not the reason we lost. Tim, we'll catch up with you next week. Thanks very much.
Look forward to it. Cheers.
So, not surprisingly, Duracell's extra mile goes to Lionel Messi, says Tim Vickery. We're going to touch on the refereeing in more detail and look at who might get the final with the former Premier League referee, Graham Scott, and get a bit of insight into Harry Kane and the way he interacts with referees. Graham doesn't feel it always does England or maybe his clubs a lot of favours. We'll tell you more about that shortly.
Duracell's Extra Mile on talkSPORT. Different, better, unstoppable.
McCarthy joined Simon and Piers, decided to take Piers Morgan on regarding an incident way back in 2009 when, as Wolves manager, he rested a number of players for a trip to Old Trafford.
I've always respected you hugely, genuinely, as a manager.
Except when I dropped 10 players
Yes.
At Wolverhampton.
Yeah, well, that was terrible.
You did say something that I was particularly unhappy about.
I thought it was shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Well, what was your problem with what I said? You must have known I was right.
You're never right, mate. You just antagonise people with your comments, which you're doing on this show quite clearly.
No.
So when you said it, my job is to win games.
Yes.
We went to Spurs the Saturday before. We won 1-0 with about 35% possession. We've got Manchester United on the Tuesday. I went there and I dropped 10 players. I have a squad of 22. If I'm a manager, it's my right to manage that team how I see and get results.
And it's my right as an Arsenal fan who you were directly impacting with your cowardice
because you weren't good enough because you weren't good enough to win the title. And Sir Alex won it again, and he won it. You weren't good enough, so you blame me, which is real bad on my part.
I know what Roy Keane's problem was.
No,
just to be clear. By dropping 10 players, you let United walk all over you, which had a direct impact on my team's chances of winning the league. I thought that was an appalling abrogation of your duty as a manager to entertain the fans with the best available team.
Clear you up. My duty was to beat Burnley on the Saturday, and we did.
Well, Mick hasn't forgotten, has he? That's for sure.
Oh, no, he went further.
The photo of the World Cup winning captain hoisting the trophy into the air is one of the most iconic images in sport. Maradona, Bobby Moore, Cafu, these pictures, Was Lionel Messi's tainted though? In Qatar in 2022, Messi finally got his hands on the World Cup. But as he prepared to lift the trophy in those famous blue and white stripes, the Emir of Qatar approached, flanked by Gianni Infantino, with a bisht in hand. Now, a bisht is a traditional Arabic robe worn by royalty, and in it, Messi raised Argentina's golden prize into the night sky. Cynics said Qatar had paid for this exact photograph, knowing it would go down in history. But look, the badge of his country isn't even visible on Messi's chest. Pablo Zabaleta said on TV that there was no reason to do this. In fact, let's just bring this picture back. I mean, just imagine if the three lions were obscured on it. Some suggest what happened in Doha was the icing on the sports washing cake. But it was a massive moment of cultural significance for the Arabic world. So much so that a member of Oman's parliament offered to buy the bisht for $1 million. Messi himself has never publicly commented, and I'll leave it up to you to decide how he felt. But maybe he was just happy to finally get his hands on the World Cup.
For Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. We've got Jim White, Simon Jordan and Ronnie Moulenstein. Top coach will be joining the guys today, so it'll be interesting to get his take on what he witnessed. Of course, formerly of Manchester United. One of our listeners, where's it gone? Yeah, Kevin, the Southend fan, has done a bit of research into what they're saying in Germany today.
Oh, yeah.
And the gist of it is classic Tuchel. German commentators recognise a pattern from his spells at PSG, Chelsea and Bayern, overthinking knockout games, becoming too cautious after taking a lead, trying to protect an advantage instead of concentrating on controlling a game. Gary from Troon says, should we be surprised about Tuchel? Us Chelsea fans have seen this before. When Liverpool kids put them under pressure in the League Cup final, they retreated and finally cracked, just like last night. Do you agree with that, Andy?
I do agree with that, absolutely, 100%. It was a poor performance from him.
And you saw a bit of that at Chelsea at times.
Of course.
Reverting to that. And was it frustrating to watch at times?
Well, not when they win.
I suppose you did win a Champions League.
Win the Champions League.
But that was pretty.
But that was also backs to the wall, thing. They went 1-0 up, and on that occasion they got lucky because City missed a hatload of chances, and that's what we needed last night, and that wasn't going to happen, unfortunately.
Well, Tim alluded to the kind of bit of skullduggery very early on. Argentina set the pattern. And the little nudge on Bellingham very early on in the game.
It was really obvious.
Of course, Simeone, I wouldn't call him a chip off the old block. I did use another 4-letter word to describe him.
Yeah, very much so.
Probably guess.
He didn't get booked, but I mean, how many fouls? 7, 8 fouls?
I thought the referee, it's not why we lost, let's qualify that, but the referee was weak. Let's speak to a former Premier League referee, Graham Scott. Hello, Graham.
Good morning.
Michael Oliver got some stick earlier in the tournament for giving out 6 yellow cards in the first half. There weren't any in the second half. He could see he'd probably done his homework, knew the style of the game it was going to be, saw what the players were doing and dealt with it. Clearly last night, you just wonder if referees do their homework, because you could see from that first cheap nudge what they were going to do. You could easily have Enzo Fernandez, 2 back-to-back fouls within 5 minutes, the second one an elbow. That should have been a yellow card. Don't you end up just saying, look, I know what you're doing. I know what the idea is. This is the first one. If you keep that up, there's going to be more of them.
In principle, absolutely, yes. The received wisdom, I've never been particularly happy with, but the received wisdom is that in these big games, you keep your powder dry. You wait for something real, stick on, obvious. No, you've got no choice but to yellow. And that came in this game with Elliot Annion's foul on Messi. I actually thought there was a foul by Romero earlier than that really should have been given a yellow card. But the two early on, it's like the Argentinians know they're going to get away with it, so they do it. Equally, we should know they're going to do it, and we know they're going to get away with it, so we need to be prepared for it. And even though I think we would probably agree that surely the better outcome is the referee just stick a yellow card up early, because then that might deal with it, might actually stop what goes on afterwards. But it is, for whatever, we saw it with Howard Webb in his World Cup final, didn't we, where he tried really, really hard to keep all those players on the pitch, and it didn't work for him in the end. He was very unlucky, but it didn't work for him. And that's what seemed to happen last night.
You must feel a responsibility in big games when you've refereed big Premier League games that, because people say, it's not about the ref. He made it all about him. Yeah. Because you give an early card and you've then got to give a red and it spoils a game. I mean, it's a lot of responsibility on it.
Yeah, you give an early red card, of course, you've ruined it for everyone. People haven't come to watch you ref, and it's trying to find the balance. It was very difficult. I actually thought overall the referee did fine last night. Certainly, as you said, I don't think it cost us the game. Given the history of the fixture and the 4 referees who tried doing it in the World Cup before, he's actually had to come out of it smelling the best, really, because there's no one-off decision where you can say, well, that's really cost someone. What we're really talking about is England's tactics and how well Argentina played when they came back.
I mean, 11 fouls in the first 22 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, one of those was definitely worthy of a yellow.
Yeah.
And teams Paraguay proved it, didn't they? As long as you can get away with it, you'll keep doing it. If they'll suss out that ref, they'll smell that he's not going to want to give him a yellow card, and they'll just keep pushing the envelope.
Yeah, and we're not very good at playing the ref either. So we do this thing, and it really annoys me watching our players trying to chip away at the ref, because that's not going to work. I've been on the receiving end of it from these people. It just annoys you. It doesn't get you what you want. It doesn't achieve what you're hoping it will achieve. And well, the Argentinians don't seem rather more effective at it. So what can we learn from that? It's also understanding about how different referees operate. So do we actually watch the ref? Do we analyse them before the game? Do we think, right, he's going to let this go? Okay, well, we can exploit that as well, potentially, but also be ready for that onslaught because it's coming. What does make him reach for his pocket? When's he going to do it? And I bet if you look at his record, he'll give his first yellow card between 30 and 45 minutes almost every week, because that's how some refs work, So, and it's not wrong, but it does tend to be what happens. So, teams just kind of think if we turn up and shout at the ref all day, eventually he'll give us something. Well, we need to all these marginal gains in every other aspect of the sport. We don't seem to take the same view with refs. We just rant at them and hope that it works. Tuchel running up to the fourth official repeatedly. when he should be focused on his job, doing the game, because he's not going to. The fourth division's not going to say, "Oh, ref, the England manager's not happy. You better give him something." It doesn't work. It doesn't happen like that. So it was frustrating to watch, also from a refereeing perspective, in lots of different ways.
We regard Harry Kane as the perfect English gentleman, of course, but as you touched on some of those England players that chip
and the
away.
point you made about Messi talking to him at half time and going up to him, and Messi seemed to manage to have a nice long chat.
He certainly did. But what of Kane? I mean, maybe give us a bit of insight on what he can be like when he's chatting to a referee.
He is very repetitive. And it is the sarcastic leading question of, is he going to be allowed to do that all day? Are you going to give us anything? Do you know there are two teams out here? And it just irritates you. And it irritated me to the point I thought, do you know what? I just wish you wish you'd just go away. And then it makes you actually, if anything, when the 50-50 call comes in, no, you're not getting it, because I've taken against you as a person now. It doesn't work, Harry. And I'd love to speak to him about it, because he could be effective, I'm sure, but what he's trying now doesn't work. And I've seen it in the Premier League, of course. I don't know what he's like in the Bundesliga. I've not watched it, but it is frustrating, because and it looks like Bellingham follows a similar pattern. Any time I refereed him when he was at Birmingham as a kid, so I don't know what he obviously was. He would have changed a lot since then.
He's likely to be the next England captain, isn't he?
He certainly is. So he'll be stepping up.
And in so many ways, they're both such great role models. Don't get me wrong. I mean, and they're not unpleasant people, but it's about what works. And I do think when it comes to referees, people haven't really thought about what works with refs to get them on your side.
Yeah.
And all we ever do is rinse and repeat, berate, batter, shout. Eventually, they'll buckle.
Yeah.
Well, if everyone's doing it, I suppose it evens itself out. But
a nice bunch of flowers, box of chocolate.
Nice box of chocolates. Yeah,
that's bribery, and we don't want to go down there.
So, what is the blueprint? Is it simply saying, "Excuse me, ref, why did you give that"? I mean, what do you want from a player?
It's knowing the person, actually. So some different approaches work with different people, but there's nothing like, I mean, just being called ref all the time. I mean, there's only a few of us. We could learn the names.
Yeah.
And just be interested in the person a bit, you know, and understand what their motivations are, understand what their processes are.
Our old mate Keith Cooper, the former referee, dad of Steve, used to tell us whenever he used to manage Wimbledon, first thing Fash would come up to him. "Hello, Keith. How are you? Haven't seen you. How's the family? How you been doing?" Arm round him, and then he'd go out and do what Fash did, along what every Wimbledon did. So it's like he could kind of see through that sort of feigned interest. But just a quick one on the final referee. Obviously, Michael Oliver and Anthony Taylor can't do it now because Argentina have made it and they've decided. They can't see beyond the politics of it, and maybe because they've knocked England out. Who's your favourite? Marciniak did the last one. Is he still in the mix for this one?
No, I mean, we have FIFA always very well. I mean, highly unlikely it'd be him, I think, although he's still there. FIFA have a policy of having a neutral confederation. So this is South America against Europe. Likely to have a referee from Asia. We've had 2 semi-finals go to the Americas. So Alireza Fagani, who's Iranian by descent, works in Australia, is probably the front runner. But the Jordanian referee who did England's game in which Kane went down trying to get a penalty, I've forgotten who we're playing now. We've played so many matches. And he also did the American game against Belgium and did really well. So I think he's a kind of what you might call a dark horse, either to get the final as ref or maybe, if not, be the fourth official. But they both had a decent chance. Fagani was the referee who didn't give France a penalty when Mbappe was taken out, and that was probably the worst decision of the tournament.
Sure.
He refereed England, Mexico. So we've seen both of them. I think it'd be one of those two would be my bet, but I really don't know. I've got no inside intelligence.
No, good stuff, Graham.
Thanks, Graham.
Really interesting as always. We'll catch up with you soon. Thanks a lot.
Thanks both.
There is Graham Scott there, the athletics refereeing correspondent, not his rugby correspondent. I mean, honestly, I've had about 4 hours and it's just been playing on my mind all night and I'm annoyed. But thanks to Graham, the former Premier. And that's really interesting on Kane, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Sort of sarcasm. It's not what you expect,
No,
is it?
not really.
Wow.
It's obviously not working.
A massive run of DAZN Saturday night fights are coming. Harlem Eubank takes on David Papo. live from the Copper Box Arena in London. And next week, it's Danger Before Destiny. Anthony Joshua is back, takes on Christian Prenga, Albanian knockout machine, with an incredible record of 20 knockouts and 20 wins. But I would imagine this is a slight step up in class from the people he's put on their backsides before. Join DAZN Ultimate and get access to 185 plus fight nights and 12 plus pay-per-view events every year, including Anthony Joshua versus Prenga, July the 25th, all included at no extra cost.
Boxing update on talkSPORT with DAZN, the global home of boxing. Sign up now at dazn.com/boxing.
When we have a 4-2-4 system, players like Olmo, if you look at him, he's always between two lines. Yep. This player, you saw it in the game with Belgium, you saw it in the game with Portugal. He is exactly the kind of, I would say, a virus who is entering in the blood of the opponents, and he killed us. He was one of the players perfectly suited to kill us.
Yeah. Can I just ask your thoughts on Mbappe last night as well? I mean, did he let himself down, Eric? I know he's a big player, he's a big personality, but even walking off last night, not shaking anybody's hands, I mean, how does that look?
It looks like the real Mbappe is back. There is two Mbappe, the one who is having a mission and the one who can be positive and working and sharing and being the leader of a team. And when he loses his gift, his toy, when the toy is broken, suddenly the teenager who is part of him comes back, the one who is selfish, the one who is a bit aggressive when he gets a yellow card with the goalkeeper, the one who doesn't share hands with opponent, the one who suddenly in the last 20 minutes he knew the game was lost and he played for himself. He made some useless kicks, shots. Sorry. So altogether, we are back with the Mbappe from Paris Saint-Germain, the Mbappe sometimes of Real Madrid, the Mbappe that we know that I spoke about it from the very early stage of the tournament, who is selfish. And when he's selfish like that, then you lose the man on the mission. The mission was lost, Mbappe was back.
Get ready to get that winning feeling with talkSPORT Win. This summer, talkSPORT is bringing you live and official coverage of every game of the FIFA World Cup 2026. And to celebrate, we're giving away £26,000 guaranteed. Go to win.talksport.com to enter now, and you could win 26 grand in your hand, tax-free. Enter now, and you could be the next to get that winning feeling, courtesy of talkSPORT Win. Find out how to enter now at win.talksport.com.
You're reacting, of course, to England's defeat to Argentina in the semi-final of the World Cup last night. James, the Wednesday fan. Hi, James.
Morning, guys. Great show. Thank you for having me on.
It's a pleasure, yeah. What do you want to say?
Yeah, obviously there are ways to exit these sort of competitions. You cast your mind back to Mexico 86, Italia 90, Euro 96, when we had Rooney sent off against Portugal, when we had Beckham sent off against Argentina and we lost on penalties. They were performances full of bravery and, at the end of the day, bad luck. And, you can't, they come back as heroes. What concerns me is the last 3 or 4 tournaments, I don't see that. And I think the players have got a certain amount of culpability here. I'll just give it some context. You look at Croatia World Cup semi-final. We're playing Croatia off the park. We go in front deservedly. And then pretty soon after that, we vacate the midfield, go defensively. Modric can't believe his luck. They all start getting a passing game together, and they beat us 2-1.
So the same blueprint as last night, then. So what's your feeling then around the players? You think it's the players that have come up short last night?
This is a theme. You look at Italy, Euros, Wembley. We score early. The Italians are rowing amongst each other. They're all over the place, and then we vacate midfield. Yeah. The Italians slowly come into the game, get their passing game together.
Tuchel highlighted that, said as recently as March that was the problem and how he was going to fix it.
And then did exactly the same
in the
thing.
moment, did exactly the same thing.
So I'll come on to last night. So last night, the players play really well first half and beginning of second half, and I would say they deservedly take the lead.
Sure.
I would say Messi looks all of his 39 years at that point. He's not in the game. People like Anderson are closing him down, harassing him. He's losing the ball. Argentina don't really have their passing game together. We score, and then what happens? They vacate midfield and go to a low block. And I blame, I think you've got to look at, and I love Declan Rice, and I thought Anderson had a really good game as well. But what I noticed is there were 2 distinct phases in that game last night. There was the phase from immediately after we scored, and our midfield just sat right in front of the back four. And also the fullbacks did similar. So that's your first phase. We went really defensively. Argentina started to get their passing game going.
James, the problem is, James, the substitutions, we're going to have to get on to...
Sent out the message, and he had the hydration break.
He had a hydration break to deal with that.
So you can't just put it down to the players.
And his substitutions told the players what his thinking was. But do take your point. I thank you, James, the Wednesday fan. It is time now to look at all the odds with BetMGM.
It's showtime on talkSPORT with BetMGM. We're ready for the action. Are you? Visit betmgm.co.uk or download the app. 18+. GambleAware.org.
Time to get all the latest odds from BetMGM.
Happiest man in the MGM office.
We haven't spoken to Celtic supporting Sean Martin, Scotsman, since Scotland crashed out. He's not been available since.
No, apparently.
Suddenly today.
Oh, here he is.
Who wants to do talkSPORT? I'll do it, says Sean. Hiya, Sean.
Morning, gents. Believe it or not, I was committed to coming on.
Yeah, chinny rack on.
Evidently, no annual leave allowance left. That's the thing. Used it all. So, yeah.
Punters. Was it a good night for the bookies or not? It certainly was the night before with France losing. But what was the feeling in the office today? Was it more champagne and caviar?
The feeling in the office was very much heart over business head. I think there was a lot of down faces. I wasn't one of them, but there we go. I did think, to be fair, I did listen to some of the show earlier, and I thought Alan Pardew's 5 facts were pretty much spot on from what I seen. From what I seen in the game. A few customers did get on Argentina to win in normal time at 1-0 down with about 15 or 20 minutes or so.
Well, with their previous, Sean, I can completely understand it. I wouldn't have allowed myself patriotically to do that, but you could make a case.
I just didn't think of it. If I had, I would have definitely got on.
I mean, the odds fluctuate all the time in play, of course, but I know some got it at around about 14-1 or so at that point, so it was good. And I mean, we've got, on the back of that game, we've had some changes in the main kind of player markets. Golden Boot, Messi leads the race with 1 more assist than Mbappe. However, he's actually drifted to win the award overall. He's 4-5 today, Messi having been 13-20 yesterday. That's likely because he didn't score last night and now faces Spain, the best defence in the competition, whereas Mbappe is in the 3rd place playoff. I will not be calling it the bronze final, by the way. So a dead rubber essentially, and can kind of really go for the golden boot.
I'm amazed if he plays. I mean, if
I
I
think
was
he will.
if I was
Yeah,
Tuchel and Deschamps, I'd ring each other up and say, "Come on, let's just play the players who have."
Well, we were talking to Stuart Pearce about this yesterday.
Nobody wants to play in this stupid game.
They let Tony Dorigo play. He wanted to give some minutes. I imagine Kobbie Mainoo will play. I wonder how Kobbie Mainoo will feel about that. It's like suddenly the first minute he gets on the field, he's going to be in a kind of dead rubber against the French.
I can't even bother to watch it, actually. Is anybody interested?
I will watch it. I mean, I doubt if it's going to be a massive betting market for you guys, is it?
I mean, it's still France versus England, but ultimately it is after the Lord Mayor show, isn't it? When it's the third place.
Well, it's actually before the Lord Mayor show.
Well, yeah. And the flip's actually true for the Golden Ball, though. What I just said there for the Golden Boot, it's the opposite. Messi's came in for the Golden Ball from 75 yesterday to 8-1 on, and it's Rodri now, because Spain are in the final, that is rated next best at 6-1. Jude Bellingham went from 5-2 yesterday all the way out to 33-1 today. In terms of the actual games of football, Spain are 65 favourites for the win over Argentina in 90 minutes, and France 17-20 favourites to beat England. I'm not going to lie though, see this World Cup final, this time the spectacle, I'm not sure how much I'm particularly looking forward to it. You know you're going to have 4 quarters, you're now going to have this halftime show.
I know.
How about you? But it's too much for me.
I don't want Spain to win the World Cup particularly, or I don't mind who wins it. But after his comments about Spain, I can't wait to see Donald Trump have to hand the trophy to Rodri.
Matt Ford gave us what Donald Trump would probably say. Is there any market on whether they're going to kick off with him or not?
This speaks to the whole Americanization of it this year. We've actually got specials on site for Donald Trump to do that dance of his at half time. Any player to use the Trump
what about
dance
the odds on him giving Rodri an unwanted kiss?
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty unlikely.
Not exactly the same, but similar. We've got a market on either captain not to deliberately refuse to shake his hand at the end of the game.
To do a
that would be good.
Messi to play in the next World Cup at 43. I don't know if there's any odds on that. There's a book on that.
Nah, I'm not sure about that, but it probably means Ronaldo will try to play as well, and I don't think anybody really wants to see that attempt, do they? But
no. Definitely not.
Just a quick, they're underway in the golf. We were chatting to Alex yesterday. I quite fancied Matt Fitzpatrick off the back. You've had a little flutter on him. I mean, a lot of the big boys still to go out, and there'll be a lot of love for Tommy Fleetwood. But what's the latest odds on that?
Yeah, first round underway, as you say. Thomas Detry, the clubhouse leader on 3 under, he's now 66-1 to win it. Scotty Scheffler, ominously for the rest, he's birdied 3 of the first 5 holes, so he was 4 under and in from 15-2 to 11-5 when I checked just before coming on. There's Sung J M and a couple of others 3 under, including Bob McIntyre. He, I think I'm right in saying he's 3 under as well. Coming to the end of his round, he was 30-1 yesterday. That dropped to 16s. About halfway through the round earlier. He's now floating about the 14-1 mark, guys.
Scotland Scheffler, as you like to call him.
Scotland Scheffler, that's right. Thanks for joining us again, Sean. It's lovely to see you. I kind of had half an expectation to pop up again today.
So difficult.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks very much. There's Sean Martin there from BetMGM. You can visit BetMGM. .co.uk or download the app.
They got tomorrow Billy Connolly.
Yeah, that's right. Kenneth McKellar's going to join us. 18 plus begamblerware.org.
It's showtime on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Keep things golden with responsible play at betmgm.co.uk. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Still lots to come in the final hour of the show. Jim Proudfoot, your match commentator from last night, will be joining us. Max Scott has been out and about chatting to the England fans today. Encountered a bit of anger, not directed towards him, I hope. And all manner of other stuff besides. Don't forget Jim and Simon up at 1. But we'll get the sports headlines where Toby Gillies next.
Look, we've seen some amazing players play for England over in my lifetime, but I feel that what Bellingham is doing, even if you compare it to Kane, and Kane is an icon. Kane is one of England's greats as well. But Bellingham feels different.
Do you think?
Yeah.
You think he's the greatest player to ever play for England?
Can we frame this question in a slightly different way?
Go on.
Can we just discount the 66 winners? Like,
Okay. You can't go
right?
against Bobby Moore.
They've won it. They've won it.
Okay,
Like,
but is he the best player you've seen in an England shirt ever?
He's not. He's probably not the best player, but he might be the best England player, the best player for England. Like, look, you could argue that Steven Gerrard was a better player than him. You could argue that Paul Scholes was. You could argue that lots of players were, but none of them did it for England in the way that Bellingham has already. Already, 22 years old. Already, think about what happened in Qatar. Think about what happened in Germany, and this World Cup, he's taken it to a completely different level.
Yeah,
like I think it's amazing. I don't
Rooney.
know Rooney never did it for England quite like Rooney. I was there. Rooney scored 1 goal at a World Cup for England.
Yeah,
like Jamie Carragher wrote a piece in yesterday's Telegraph, and he was talking about Gaza. He was kind of making the comparisons with Gaza. Gaza captured a nation, and all that.
Yeah,
and he obviously did. And you think of his performances in Italia 90 and then Euro 96. But I didn't know this until I read Carragher's article. Gaza didn't score at Italia 90. He didn't score. Bellingham's got 6 in 6. It's different. I don't see how you can say that he's not better than what Gerrard did for England. Gerrard had his moments, remarkable footballer. But Rooney's contribution, Gerrard's contribution, Lampard's contribution, it just can't be bigger than what Bellingham has already done. Do you agree?
Yeah, I kind of do. I mean, Gaza was my idol growing up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I look at what he'd done and how he played. I think Bellingham's better.
Talk Sport.
Good afternoon, I'm Toby Gillis. Big Dan Burn just will not stop defending. Today, it's Tommy T's tactics. Well, someone's got to do it. So why did he switch to a back 5 with England 1-0 up?
We've done that in the last few games and we've seen it out well, so I don't think that we can take massive criticism going into that. I think when we're in 4-4-2 defending, we're conceding a lot of chances, so something had to change, and as I said, we've been pretty solid when we went to a back 5.
Well, Tuchel says he added defenders to help the players who had naturally started defending their lead. South American football expert Tim Vickery told H&J his decision played into Argentina's hands.
It's up to the coach to counteract that tendency, isn't it? You know, and I just couldn't believe when he took off the only out ball he had. You know, took off Gordon. You know, brought on a defender, and now you're going to be pinned back.
Former England keeper Jack Butland told talkSPORT Tuchel had attacking players that he could have brought on.
People that can take the ball in and buy fouls and go past people. There's ways of doing it. Hindsight, it really didn't work. Doesn't mean to say it was going to work the other way, but I think we'd all agree that perhaps going down fighting and going down a different way would have been an easier pill to swallow.
The FA is fully backing Tuchel to stay in the job until the next Euros. Meanwhile, Lisandro Martinez and Christian Romero have thanked Gary Neville for doing their team talk for them. Argentina's centre-backs said they were on fire after Neville called them the best/worst pairing in the world. And round 1 of the Open at Royal Birkdale is underway. Belgium's Thomas Detry is the clubhouse leader on 3 under, but there are a whole host level with him still on the course, including Scotty Scheffler, who's still on his front 9. Remember, live commentary is over on talkSPORT 2.
talkSPORT News.
British Steel is now in public ownership, and communications regulator Ofcom has launched an investigation into TikTok. There's more with Tom at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. With over 400 EV-ready centres across the UK, we're top of the league for electric car owners. Visit quickfit.com and book today.
Dry with some long sunny spells, very warm, hot in the south. The far southwest, though, could get the odd isolated thunderstorm.
US football forecast on talkSPORT with QuickFit, a team selection that everyone would be happy with this summer. QuickFit, drive away happy every time.
Yes, time to get all the latest weather over in the States. Thanks to Quick Fit. We hoped not to have to worry about the weather in Miami on Saturday night, our time, but
there's a gloomy front of depression over this studio.
I think there is. That's right. Yeah, there's a massive cloud hanging over the talkSPORT studio. I probably Stephen Morgan from Fox Weather in New York can probably see it on his weather map. Hello, Stephen.
But I can feel it too. We've got a little bit of a cloud. What a disappointing game yesterday. Yeah. My goodness.
Yeah, absolutely. So look, we do have to care about the weather in Miami. I think it'd be interesting to see how which players turn out, whether there's some fresh legs in the game. But is it going to be another hot one, Stephen?
It will be warm. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be the hottest game that England has played in. The temperatures in Miami do look to be a bit on the warmer side. We're looking about the upper 80s, 89 degrees Fahrenheit or so. The kickoff's going to be 5 p.m. That's about 32 degrees Celsius. Was wondering if we would have rain. Last time England played in Miami, there was a better chance of rain, but some of that Saharan dust ended up making the whole game dry. We didn't have any rain. And I actually think this one's going to be dry too. We will have a little bit of a sea breeze that comes in the afternoon that could develop a stray shower. But I think for the most part, it's going to be a dry game throughout the entire match. Not too worried about it.
Our whole tournament's turned to Saharan dust.
It has turned to, yeah, that's a beautiful analogy. That's right, yeah. So is there still a chance of storms for the final at the MetLife on Sunday?
The weekend's interesting for the Northeast. New York, New Jersey Stadium, where the final's going to be. Saturday looks a lot rainier, even stormy, in New York and New Jersey. I think Sunday we actually have a drying trend, so I'm not too worried about the showers, at least at the stadium for Sunday. Temperatures are also going to be better. They're going to be dropping back into the mid-80s, about 29 degrees Celsius or so. Yesterday, we reached about 33, 34 degrees Celsius in New York. It's been warm. And we also dealt with some smoke from wildfires burning in Canada. We've had some winds that have brought that in. In fact, a bit of an orange hue in the sky. But things should be improving. So I think on Sunday, going to be a dry day in New York. I'm hosting a few friends from England. I didn't tell you guys this, and I'm not. We were hoping it was going to be England.
Yeah.
No, we all had those.
Yeah, you can all sit.
We all had those plans.
You can all sit there and boo Argentina collectively, can't you? Thank you, Stephen.
All right, you guys got it.
Stephen Morgan over for Fox Weather in New York. Thanks to QuickFit, drive away. QuickFit, sorry, I've had no sleep. QuickFit, drive away happy every time.
US football forecast on talkSPORT with QuickFit. Your car's star player you can always rely on this summer. QuickFit, drive away happy every time.
Our own Matt Scott went out and about chatting to some of the England fans. He's going to join us shortly and discuss what he found. Before that, though, Gabby Partington's at the Open watching for talkSPORT. Gabby.
Thanks, gents. Yeah, Scheffler, he had a brief spell at the top all by himself, thanks to 4 birdies in 5, but since given one back at the par 3 7th. And we are back to a 6-way tie at the top at 3 under par, which includes Thomas Detry, who's the first in the clubhouse this morning. Robert McIntyre joins him, and Alex Smalley, Sunjae Im, and Dan Brown, who's had a bit of a roller coaster 5 holes, hasn't he? Birdie, bogey, birdie, bogey, birdie, with 17 and 18 left to play. All of those players at the very, very top at 3 under par. Henrik Stenson, who lifted the claret jug 10 years ago, he went well, calling a 2 under 68, and is alongside a few Englishmen looking in good shape. Jordan Smith, Tyrrell Hatton and Matthew Southgate, as well as a 2-time US Open champion in Bryson DeChambeau. Justin Rose, who did have a hot start with an opening birdie, has fallen off since. Now 3 straight bogeys puts the 1998 silver medalist here at Royal Birkdale to 3 over par for the championship. We've just seen shots of Rory McIlroy, who's arrived, and he gets underway alongside fellow champion golfer of the year, Xander Schauffele, and also Matt Fitzpatrick. That's at 3:15 later this afternoon, but loads more to play in the meantime. So it's a 6-way tie at the moment, and if you fancy catching full coverage of the Open Championship, catch us live on talkSPORT 2.
The Open Championship update on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark. Get a discounted home charger from just £549 when you buy an electric car today.
Thank you, Gabby. We're just seeing footage of the England coach. Lee, that's always that classic thing. The England players shuffle onto the coach, and the coach pulls out the hotel car park. Has been a bit of a staple over the years. Max Scott joins us now. Max, we asked you earlier on to go out and sort of take the pulse of the nation and see what they felt about last night, and specifically whether they still had faith in the manager.
Well, that's the big question this morning, isn't it? You know, that Mexico game in particular, you felt like England really pushed through something sort of psychologically and mentally.
Against 10 men in,
Exactly. But then maybe there's this sort of reversion to type a little bit last night with the defensive mentality, some of those substitutions, lots of angry callers on the breakfast show wanting Tuchel gone. Obviously, the FA are backing him. But what I wanted to know is, what are the people thinking? Do they still have faith in Thomas Tuchel?
I did up until the 60-yard minute last night. I think it was just a little bit disappointing watching what we thought was going to change with the switch from Southgate to Tuchel.
The negativity once we scored, why didn't we bring on a more pace attack? Or if you're going to defend, leave it a little bit later. But we had no outlets.
No, quite frankly, not after last night's performance. Before that, I thought the guy was doing quite good. I'm not an expert at football, but I think last night, I don't know what his tactics were. He got so passive, it was just ridiculous.
Should have gone for more, and it looked like the mentality was to sit back and defend the leads. You can't do that in situations like that. And a big tournament needs big mentalities, and we didn't have it.
We've seen it happen probably now in the last 4 major games. You know, the World Cup back in 2018, the 2 Euros finals, this game. It's kind of a very similar pattern where we've got a lead or we've scored a goal, and then we've kind of just felt ourselves just slowly slipping back.
Lost faith gradually, and I thought last night was a complete dereliction of duty, to be honest with you.
This is a job. He has an employer and he is an employee. No matter how high profile the job is that he's got, to make that mistake, to make all the substitutions and the way they play the game, the manager's job is literally to manage the game. Those catastrophic errors that directly led to losing that game, there should be a formal investigation.
I'd probably say right now that I'm not calling for him to leave. If he did, it wouldn't surprise me too much, because I think the kind of winning the fans back is going to be quite difficult.
He should just do a decent thing and resign, but whatever, he's going to walk away with more money than I'm going to see in my life.
Well, I think they'll back him because it's his first tournament. I think he's got the reputation that he's got from winning the Champions League or whatever, they'll back him. So,
but do you want them to back him?
Right now, no.
I think we have to look at the options that are available. I mean, if there's someone else that's available, then sure, look at those options. I'm not sure whether I'd like to sack him today or have a review over the next few months, see who's available start of next season.
Pep Guardiola's free.
I'll have 100%.
So everyone except Andros Townsend and Ben the Villa fan.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only 2 people in Britain who don't think he got it wrong.
Well, it was interesting. I spoke to some people that didn't want to sort of be recorded, but it was a mixture of absolutely, yes, we want a change, but then there was maybe a slightly more nuanced view of we're not happy, but who's the replacement? And that being the big question. I had some conversations about the development of young English coaches in the country and, who's the next cab off the rank. Interestingly, in that package, you'll have heard the sort of background of London Bridge, etc., some buses and trains going by. And then there was one bloke with a northern accent clearly in his car. That was my best mate, Tom.
Oh, okay. I wondered about this. But I thought you'd got in someone's car with them, which your mum told you never to do.
Yeah. And the thing is, I thought it was just so passionate. Yeah. But I'll just shove that in as well. It needs to be a formal inquiry.
It did jar slightly, but that was good. It's interesting. I was looking at, because we haven't got the draw for the Euros till the end of the year. We don't start qualifying till next March, and then we will play, Liechtenstein and Andorra and teams like that, and not really find out much about England. But let's not forget, in September, our first meaningful game after this World Cup is a Nations League match with Spain. Our first game is against possibly the world champions, Spain, on the 26th of September. We've also got Czechia and Croatia again in that group. And so we will see some competitive football, and it will be interesting to see how we match up. And because the Nations League has taken on it... It's taken on it... Well, it's been better than meaningless friendlies, hasn't it?
I hate that as well.
Yeah, you can't have... But you can have one or the other, Andy. But maybe a game against Spain could be a good thing. But it's kind of... it's so hard to judge, isn't it, Tuchel, based on trying to qualify for the Euros, because we won't really learn anything till we get to the semi-final of the Euros.
I think what would be nice is to see maybe a little bit of contrition from Tuchel. He told Faye last night he has no regrets, and I think there are lots of England fans that might feel that that's not quite good enough. And you said it earlier.
Agree with that.
It's not as simple as uber defensive or uber attacking, which are the examples he posited. Maybe one or two defenders come on, but maybe you bring on Kobbie Mainoo and Rashford earlier. And so I think maybe some fans feel that they've been misled.
It was a bit patronising. I thought it was a bit. I thought, and it wasn't just with Faye. It was some of the other interviews as well. It was a bit dismissive, and I understand he's angry and disappointed in the moment. But you're right. Maybe a bit of mea culpa somewhere down the line. A big sit down.
We may get this. I've got a feeling he's going to go away and think about it. If he doesn't, then he's definitely not the right man.
He would have done his research into this job.
Also,
and he'll know what the backlash is going to be like. Certainly.
Who he selects for that game against Spain will be interesting. See if there's an admission, if there's a Palmer in there or a Foden or a Gibbs one. That will be an admission that perhaps he got it wrong.
What I'd really like to see, because of course he told us, didn't he? One of his first interviews was that famous diagnosis that England in the Euro 2024 final were too afraid of losing, not excited enough about winning. And the fact that that's exactly what we saw last night. What I'd love to see in these Nations League games is almost just a practice of the habit, this repetition of you score first, don't matter if it's San Marino, Liechtenstein or Spain, you go for the jugular, almost to make a point, to force it into the psyche of England that we have these... We're haunted by these ghosts of failure and losing in big moments. So whoever you're playing, you go. I don't care if you then lose 3-1 against Liechtenstein. You absolutely go for the jugular. I'd love to see him really force that into the mindset of this team.
If we lose 3-1 to Liechtenstein, he's definitely gone.
You know what I mean? Send them forward, bombing forward.
The thing is that I've lost my thread now. I've just seen us lose 3-1 to Liechtenstein. I'm a broken man. By the same token, had we, approached last night's closing stages differently, it would have been today. Hello, lads, great show. He should have gone defensive.
That is true.
We did it against Mexico. We did it against Norway. That was to go. Big damn burn, head on a stick, nod it out. Jobs are good, and we would have been in the final. So look, he would have got stick for it today. But we're much more.
If we've gone 2-0 up,
as a nation, we're used.
I think we're capable. This is what's so infuriating because I think we were capable of doing that against Argentina.
We will almost take heroic failure. What we won't take is to see a team that wouldn't go out on its shield last night. It was just, it was such a shame and such a wasted opportunity. And
that's it.
Yeah, that's the overriding thing.
It is sickening. But I think that one thing that I'm still comfortable saying about Tuchel is I love his passion. And I love, most of the time, his honesty. And I think he was honest last night, but maybe slightly dishonest in saying that he doesn't regret anything. But I still think that Tuchel's the type of character I want to manage the nation. I just don't think that... I just think he lost his head last night.
In the half-time in the Croatia game, he said, I'd rather, don't care if you lose, just go out and play your football. And the team did. Last night, when it mattered in a big game, he didn't do that. He didn't live by it.
He had a hydration break to do it.
He had plenty of time to do that. That's the frustration. More of the callers. Thank you, Max. Thanks for going out and doing that for us. Appreciate it. Max Scott there. We've got our so good moment of the day coming
More
up.
Scottish people gloating.
Good luck with that.
We don't need it.
And we've also got more of your calls, emails, texts. And then Jim Proudfoot, your commentator last night, will join us for a chat. We're here with Selco Builders Warehouse. It's where the trade go. Seems to be into the fact that it was kind of a premeditated idea by Gabriel Clark to ask a question in a divisive way. You know him, you've done this job, so what did you make of the interview and what do you make of all the fallout from it?
Well, straight after the interviews, I sent Gabriel a text and I said, a masterclass in the art of post-match interviewing. and I'll stand by that now. Gabriel's not a sensationalist. He's not out for headlines. He will look you in the eye and ask a straight question. Having been in that situation, I think he might have been slightly surprised when Tuchel came and said we were poor and we didn't do this and we didn't do that. That might have surprised him slightly, and he threw the mentality line in that Tuchel bit his head off about. But those situations, you've got a limited amount of time. There's no way that you're going to go, I'm going to ask him this and wind him up here, and then I'll get Bellingham. And by the way, what a story that's going to be. That's not Gabriel. Gabriel's the best in the business at doing that by a considerable margin and has been for many years. And when Gabriel put it to him, your manager wasn't very happy overall, and he shrugged his shoulders and said, whatever. Fine.
Do you think Gabriel could have qualified it a bit more? Maybe in hindsight, he thinks if he'd said the manager wasn't happy with performance, not in terms of effort, maybe in terms of quality, you can play better than that as a team. I
think you and everyone that's ever asked a question would look back and go, perhaps I could have asked that question a bit better. But in the heat of the moment there, in those bowels, when the adrenaline is still running, it was a straightforward, it was honest bit of interviewing. It wasn't tricky. And I was thinking about it coming in here. There's been nothing from the England camp.
No drama, has there?
There's been nothing. There's been no fights. There's been no drunks. There's been no women. There's been nothing untoward. And I think a lot of people jumped on this. Here's a bit of division here, Bellingham and Tuchel, etc., etc. There's a bit of history there, and I think it has been blown up out of all proportion.
Get ready to get that winning feeling with talkSPORT Win. This summer, talkSPORT is bringing you live and official coverage of every game of the FIFA World Cup 2026. And to celebrate, we're giving away £26,000 guaranteed. Go to win.talksport.com to enter now, and you could win 26 grand in your hand, tax-free. Enter now, and you could be the next to get that winning feeling, courtesy of talkSPORT Win. Find out how to enter now at win.talksport.com.
The so-good moment of the day on talkSPORT with Meantime. talkSPORT have teamed up with Meantime to create so-good lager for the World Cup. Available now at all O'Neill's pubs and some of the best sports bars in the UK. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
Yes, time now for today's so-good moment of the day with our very good friends at Meantime. Here it is. That's it, basically. There isn't one.
There wasn't one, no.
Nothing to feel so good about at all.
No.
Pint, of course, apart from a nice pint of Meantime, which I know you're partial to as well. Yeah,
absolutely.
So there we are. We've teamed up with Meantime to create so good lager for the World Cup. Available now at all O'Neill's pubs and some of the best sports bars in the UK. No, we're not blaming them. It's a good pint. Go and check it out. But don't ask us to find a so good moment of the day because there wasn't one. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
The so-good moment of the day on talkSPORT with Meantime. talkSPORT have teamed up with Meantime to create so-good lager for the World Cup. Available now at all O'Neill's pubs and some of the best sports bars in the UK. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
Jim and Simon are coming up at 1 o'clock. I was having a chat ahead of the game with... I was flanked at the latrines by Simon. We often have a quick chat before we do our handover.
That's true, yeah.
And it's going to be very interesting to hear what he's got to say alongside Jim on the performance, and Thomas Tuchel especially after last night. So go and check the boys out. Rennie Moodenstein will join him in the studio as well. Seasoned coach, of course, at Manchester United and other fine clubs. So they'll be here from 1. Thanks for all your emails and texts. The analysis is quite simple, says Paul in Warwickshire. We're simply not good enough when it matters in important games. We need a total rethink on who will be the next manager and how we approach tournaments. Didn't we have that with Tuchel, though? Wasn't that the Joe Root and Michael Branch sit down, wasn't it?
It was.
Let's get a man who's won at the top level, won't maybe come up short and go defensive when you need to be bold. And then what happened last night?
Tuchel's
46 other teams have gone out, we should say.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. A few people have made sort of similar comments. It shouldn't be forgotten, says Steve in Suffolk, that we lost to Japan in the lead-up to this World Cup. We drew against Ghana, conceded 2 against a geriatric Croatia, scraped past DR Congo, and went extra time against a team who hadn't played in the World Cup for 28 years. Once again, we play a big team, we come up short. We're ranked 4th in the world for a reason, says Steve
element of truth.
Yeah. So hello to Tom, who is a Manchester United fan. Hello, Tom.
How you doing, boys? You okay?
Yeah, it's been nice chatting to people today. The kind of shared grief, I think, has helped. You should all charge us 50 guineas for your time today. I think it's been cathartic.
Mate.
So, what do you reckon then, Tom? What's your take on last night?
I want to just ask you a question, if that's all right, guys.
Yeah.
Why do you not think he played Kobe Mainoo? I'm just baffled by. Look, you can talk about the substitutions, but I feel like everyone's talking about that. It's getting a bit boring now.
Do you think? I'll answer your question at this. Well, not necessarily, but I'll just ask the question to you. Do you think? I mean, look, you could argue to the cows come home whether he should have been involved early, and there were points of games, earlier games, when you felt
when Rice was tiring.
Yeah, the control that he would have given us in there. But last night, in that maelstrom, with everything that was going on, was that the moment to give the bloke his first minutes when we had 25 minutes left and we basically sat on the edge of the box?
100%. And not even just Kobe. Well, I'll get onto that in a second. But sometimes I feel like we're too proud, England players, in terms of Harry Kane. Don't get me wrong, great player. He looked knackered.
Yeah.
I
don't deny that.
There was a touch of the Ronaldos, don't take him off sort of thing.
Because he's a talisman and you can't take him off.
I get that, but just bring on another striker, bring on another midfielder, just someone to stretch the game. Again, the game was there to be taken. Went 1-0 up, keep going. But again, typically we go back and we defend and we defend. But that's where I think, okay, Kobe's not going to play the game. He don't like it, whatever. But I tell you what, and as a United fan, people on talkSPORT, if that was under Amarin at United, everyone would be calling in going, why is he not playing? Why is he not playing? He gets the ball in the middle of the park. He can take 4 players with him. He can dictate play, pass, flick. And also, as well, defensively, he's improved from last season. He's actually an all-round really good player. If Rice has had a bug for 3 days and he's injured, carrying a back injury, just don't take the risk.
Yeah.
Kobe's good enough. I'm sorry, Kobe Mainoo is good enough to play in the middle part for 20 minutes. Ollie Watkins is good enough to just come on for 20, just stretch the game, fresh legs. And I just don't understand why. I feel like, once again, have we gone for a manager that likes the physical runners, but not someone that's got a bit of a brain on them?
Do you still believe? I mean, I totally take your point, and I think he could have been involved earlier. And I do take your point about what he could have brought last night. But do you still have faith in Tuchel based on what you saw last night? You think he can learn from this and move on?
I think maybe give him the Euros and then let's see. I've never really rated Tuchel, to be honest, in terms of, he won the Champions League with Chelsea, not his team in the end. Then had half a season, he got sacked. I just think, I feel, my opinion is, and it hurts as a United fan, I think there's only one manager that can win us the World Cup, maybe 2. That's Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp. And that is it.
Jurgen Klopp's just taken the job, and Pep doesn't really. I mean, Pep's come up a lot.
Well, that's it, but listen, it's just really flat, because I just feel like, once again, you see teams that win the World Cup. Spain, keep the ball, pass. We come up against Argentina. They keep the ball. They've got 3 little small players, McAllister, Fernandez, and whoever it was. Not the biggest, but they just play around. And that's it. Yeah. But I'm not saying that Kobe would have come on and won us the World Cup. No. I just think, how can you not play him? Because, again, as United...
I'd like to ask you, how much game time will he get next season? You've just signed Andre Santos and Tielemans.
Yeah.
I think he still... Because Carrick's not... He knows Maine's a great player.
Yeah. And you've got a lot more games next season with Champions League. Tom, we got to go because the news awaits you. Good man, a really good call and interesting stuff. And I think a lot of people have had sympathy for that. Tom, the Manchester United fan. More calls... More emails coming up shortly, and maybe something that's got forgotten in all the mayhem of what happened last night. We'll be discussing in a few moments' time after the news headlines.
has to go, mate. I'm sorry, Jeff. Like, when we are paying £8 million for a foreign coach to come in and win us our first trophy since 1966, and that's what he does in a semi-final for an Argentinian side that were there for the taking, and to do what he did, 10 times worse than anything Southgate's ever done negatively. I'm sorry, he has to go, mate. Simple as that. The FA have to make a decision, and I just didn't like his interview, the arrogance of his interview, no regrets. Yes, you have got regrets, mate. You've got regrets. There was loads of trouble after the game across the country. Everyone was together. And that's on you, Thomas Tuchel. That's on you. The negativity, cowardly tactics. You can't blame the players. I'm hearing people say, Jeff, that, the players on the pitch have got to make decisions. There's some experience. No, you listen to your coach. Your coach tells you to play a certain formation. You listen to him.
Yeah.
He has to go. Simple as that. No foreign coach ever won the World Cup. Maybe for a reason. We've given it a go now again with a foreign coach, and that's what he's done.
I mean, Alan here has just texted the same sort of thing that you were saying. So Tuchel's shortcomings have been exposed. What about the players' shortcomings? Well, look, the players, we've got 6 defenders on. We've got 4 central defenders on at the end for the cross that Messi puts into Laura Martinez. So, yes, I get that. But ultimately, the can has to be carried by the coach, especially with the negativity. I mean, look, everybody said this, but the negative. Anthony Gordon is flying. We scored a brilliant goal. Brilliant goal. You'll have loved, the fact that Kane, Declan Rice, who's soon to come off as well, Morgan Rogers, and a lovely finish to Anthony Gordon. And Gordon's feeling 10 feet tall, so what do? Oh, we'll take him off.
When you think about some of the stadiums that have hosted games in the World Cup, sometimes it's hard not to be completely overawed. But what's the biggest? One thing we have to be clear about is that older stadiums will have had higher capacities when it was standing only. A good example of this is the old Wembley. For the final in '66, the capacity was 125,000. But that was later reduced to 100 when it was converted into an all-seater in 1990. Another example is this, Mexico City's Estadio Azteca. Back in '86, it's estimated around 115,000 people watched Argentina beat West Germany to win their second World Cup. Essential modernisation so it could be used in the 2026 tournament reduced it to 83,000. You can't talk about old stadiums with high capacities without mentioning Brazil's Maracanã. Some say the jewel in football's crown. In the 2014 World Cup, its capacity stood at just under 79,000. But back in 1950, well, it wasn't official, but estimates believe 210,000 people came to this place for a winner-takes-all match between Brazil and Uruguay. That's still the world record attendance for a live football match, and let's be honest, it's not likely to be beaten anytime soon.
Thanks for all your emails, texts, tweets and calls today. More callers shortly. First, our old mate David Baddiel has highlighted a famous sporting quote from a legend, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, Martina Navratilova tweeted this, and David said, thanks to this poster who may possibly know a tiny bit about winning.
Yeah.
And she says, at the top level, playing not to lose loses most of the time.
Yeah, well, I think that's pretty succinct and to the point. Something also that got lost in last night was just the quality of the goal Anthony Gordon scored. How good a goal it was that England scored. Brilliantly set up by Morgan
honest, all
Rogers.
3 goals were good.
Yeah.
And if you were a neutral, it's probably a great game of football. Because
I don't know.
I enjoyed the first. I agree with Micah Richards. I like the battle side of it. And it's a shame we didn't do that throughout the whole game.
Yeah. We should salute Micah Richards, who was on commentary duty last night. Shortly, if you may not be aware of this, but shortly before he went on air, he learned that his father had died. So to be able to broadcast and do that,
he said he did it because his dad would have wanted him.
His dad would have wanted him to, but still, however you feel about that, he must have been such a difficult thing for him to do.
Yeah.
So we send our condolences to him today. And I'm sure the Barcelona fans as well will be looked at some of the early games and thought, Anthony Gordon, really? And then as the tournament unfolded, they would have thought, oh, okay, we get it now. They're probably quite excited. So anyway, let's take some of your calls, shall we? Let's hear from... It's Danny. Hello, Danny. How are you?
Hi, mate. You okay?
Yeah, we're not too bad. We're getting better as the day goes on.
I listen to the show all the time, pal.
Oh, that's got God bless you. Thank you.
I just why did it bring the attackers off and bring defenders on? Can't get my head around it, mate.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, does it? Really? I mean, look, you can get a balance. You can get a balance. That's what he's paid for.
Normally, like last year or a couple of years ago when we went out, it's fine. But I look at it now, it was in our grasp to grab. Why not put Rashford on? Yeah. Why not put all the boys on to attack?
Well, a balance.
Well, I don't think we could have gone all out attack because we knew Argentina would have come at us because, you know, they are street fighters and they were 1-0 down. They had nothing to lose in a knockout game. But we should have got the balance between attack and defence.
I think it'd be interesting to see what Spain do against them. It'll put it in perspective.
We're England. We attack.
Yeah, we're England, but...
We're English. We attack. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't done that in big games.
Not entirely true.
We're England. We tend to sit in a low block on the edge of... I mean, we've got very...
We tend to get frightened and panic is what we do.
With a mask on, mate. Or what?
We got... Well, thank you very much for your call, Danny. We do... we do like... We get very sniffy about low blocks, don't we? Until we're actually in one ourselves.
Exactly.
When we don't seem to have a problem, it's heroic.
But even in a low block, the best low blocks have speed on the counter.
Yeah,
That's
of
what
course.
we didn't have. So you can't have one without the other.
You're right. You're right. There is, even when you're sitting like that, teams that can do that can hit you on the break.
Look at what Egypt did to them.
We didn't offer any of that, did we? I mean, there was that one moment when the ball went down the left channel and Jude Bellingham kind of ran down there like he had a piano on his back. He was absolutely flogged.
And he had about 3 round him.
And then he had 3 round, and one of the Argentinians said something as they ran away from him because they took the ball off of him easy. And you're thinking, look, he's flogged. He shouldn't be, like you said, that thing of Ronaldo and Harry Kane. You know, you have to leave him on the pitch because you never know, he can always give you a moment. Not when he hasn't got anything left in his legs. It was kind of, I mean, again, if you're a coach, you take Bellingham and Kane off. It's, hello, lads. How could he have taken Kane and Bellingham off?
You're only judged by winning. Of course, we all know that.
Yeah.
But as he lost, then therefore you're going to look at these things and think, he should have done something else.
Hindsight. As I said, what you said to your mates in the pub last night, folks, what we were WhatsApping each other was all happening in real time. This, like an episode of Casualty, as we said earlier on. We could see the old deer on the bike, and we could see the articulated lorry come in the opposite direction. The only one who couldn't was Thomas, the old deer on the bike.
They don't have Casualty in Germany.
Don't they really?
The TV show.
They must have a show like Casualty in Germany. Surely.
I've no idea.
Let's try and find out then. Jay's a Spurs fan. Do they have... Oh, Jay, the Arsenal fan. Oh, blimey, I washed my mouth out from your point of view. Sorry, Jay. I've got a Jay the Spurs fan here, but it's a different one. Hello, Jay. How are you?
I'm not a Spurs fan, so we'll get that out of the way.
I'll take that. Yeah, you went to the dark side, but I forgive you for that. So, what do you want to say about? What do you want to say about England?
Well, I just have 2 points really. I mean, we can't talk over the tactics over and over, the subs and all of this. I think one thing that did concern me yesterday is that after the game, they're asking about Harry Kane and if he'll play at the next World Cup. The fact that we're asking if Harry Kane is going to play at the next World Cup should be terrifying us, that we've got no younger English centre forwards coming through, and we might actually be reliant on having to play Harry Kane as a striker in 2030, which is a bit of a worry. But my biggest point, Paul, you made a point about we've brought in Tuchel as like this top-level elite manager. He's won it. I'm just going to run this back and be like, we brought in Sven, funky foreign manager, good ideas, couldn't get it done.
Yeah.
Steve McLaren, young upcoming British manager, couldn't get it done. Capello was supposed to be the second come in, win everything. He's tactical, he knows it all, couldn't get it done. We then had Allardyce, who is the stereotypical English lion, couldn't get more of an Englishman than Sam Allardyce. We all know what happened there, couldn't get it done. Southgate's come in as the company man, ticks all the boxes, couldn't get it done. What is it about this England job that is such a poison? Yeah, of course. But what is it that we've gone through all these different types of manager to try and fit it into the England job and the England team?
Yeah.
And none of them can get it right in terms of actually taking it to the point of winning a trophy. I don't know where, and people are going to start asking about, well, Pep's available now, but if Tuchel's on 10 mil a year, what are we going to have to pay Pep to touch this?
Well, but what you're saying, Jay, is that we've tried every possible blueprint. What's left? Well, maybe it's the De La Fuente approach. I mean, it's Lee Carsley. We go back to Lee Carsley. He wasn't the most media friendly, but essentially he is a man that has brought on quite a lot of good under-21 players. Elliot Anderson, the birth of Elliot Anderson came under Lee Carsley.
And Palmer, a lot of them.
Yeah. And so, look, I mean, that is, no one's talking about that today. And there'd be a lot of people pushing back on that. But De La Fuente came through the under-19s, the under-21s, the Olympic team, and had a link with these players and brought them through.
And also to say, Kane's, shouldn't play the next World Cup with these two, it says we haven't got it. What about Argentina with Messi? They haven't got anybody to replace him.
I mean, what will H be then? He'll be, 36? I mean, the way he plays, there's a touch of the Sheringham's about him. It's never been based on paces.
I personally think that would be too far,
36?
I think for the way he is and the way he looks, I think that I can't see the point there. But, we'll see,
Yeah.
See what he does.
Maybe he'd be used sparingly in a tournament,
It's different with Messi. He's such a unique player. The way he plays and the way they play for him and around
the stat yesterday, 47% of the game he's walking or sedentary.
It's brilliant.
And then he just comes to life.
I had the same stats of me at home sitting on the couch.
And he put up his Come On England sign in the window.
Oh, yeah.
I did point out putting a red light in your window is not a great idea.
No, but you spotted it on the BBC coverage.
Yeah, the BBC's coverage last night. Kelly was having a chat with Thomas Tuchel before the game.
Was it Kane?
No, it was... it was Harry Kane, sorry. Having a chat with Harry Kane. And there in the backdrop was the sign that I bought from Cancer Research for £5 for Andy the other day. It's great to know the BBC props department are saving our licence fee. It reminds me. I don't get enough reminders about getting a licence. I've already got one. It's all. But, so it popped up. So their props department been popping down Cancer Research, spending a £5. It's good to know they're saving our licence fee. Anyway, Jim Proudfoot's had a chance to sleep on it. And your match commentator last night, we'll be catching up with him shortly. We're here at Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com.
I wonder whether he went back, muscle memory, whether he's gone back to what happened against Mexico, where we dealt with 5 at the back and they threw things at... But this ain't Mexico.
There's 20 minutes left.
It's
20 minutes of normal time, Jace.
It's more than that.
And we had a man sent off against Mexico. You could almost accept it.
I know.
You're playing against Argentina. Yeah. You can't sit off for 25 minutes. against Argentina. He absolutely bottled it. Thomas Tuchel's cost us the World Cup. He cost us the World Cup. We're 1-0 up. Played well first half. All right, cagey affair. We go 1-0 up. Be brave. Be brave, Thomas. This is what we brought you in for. We brought you in for this moment. We got rid of Southgate because he bottled it, because he weren't brave. We brought you in for now to make that decision. We're 1-0 up in a World Cup semi-final. Bring on Rashford. Bring on Saka. And if they score, they score. But at least we're going to go down fighting. At least we're going to go down with some pride. We fell out of the World Cup in disgrace because of him. Because of him. And we brought him in for this job. This is what we brought him in for, to get us over this line. And it's the same old England, same old crap, same old guff that I have to watch every tournament that we're in. And it's the manager's tucked us up again. Tucked us up. We're dead on our feet. Got Morgan Rogers playing right wing, Jude Bellingham on the left. Brings on Nico O'Reilly. We can't get out. Harry Kane's done nothing. He's dead. Nothing. Got nothing left.
I don't.
I can't believe it, Jace.
Well, no.
Jace, I can't believe it.
No,
it's a disgrace.
He
should be sacked. Get him out. Gone.
I totally agree. I can't believe that we've moved on from Southgate. And it was, if you look back over how we've limped out of World Cup or Euros, whatever, it was literally rinse and...
Get ready to get that winning feeling with talkSPORT Win. This summer, talkSPORT is bringing you live and official coverage of every game of the FIFA World Cup 2026. And to celebrate, we're giving away £26,000 guaranteed. Go to win.talksport.com to enter now, and you could win 26 grand in your hand, tax-free. Enter now, and you could be the next to get that winning feeling, courtesy of talkSPORT Win. Find out how to enter now at win.talksport.com.
Out for Morgan Rogers. 2-to-8 man in the middle. Oh, it's in! Swept into the bottom left-hand corner by Anthony Gordon. Corner taken short and quickly by Messi. Gets the return ball again. Just trying to shuffle his way towards the edge of the penalty area. Sets it up for Fernandes again in space. And there's the equaliser. Back in from Messi. And headed in by Lautaro Martinez. And that might be the decisive blow. It's a familiar story as the full-time whistle blows. And we're back to the drawing board again. And the long, interminable wait just goes on.
Yep, Jim Proudfoot in commentary last night.
60 years and counting.
Well, Nigel Adley, another of our fine commentary team, he says Ramsey, Taylor, Venables, Sven, Hodgson, Southgate, Tuchel have all gone out in finals after England scored first. Failure to see a game out, a perennial England problem. And the day had started so well for Jim Proudfoot, who was the winner of the brilliant Torquay United lottery, the news that Charlie Baker brought us yesterday.
Absolutely
quite a sizable amount of money, not retirement money, but pretty decent money. But then it all went pear-shaped when the game started. Jim's had a chance to sleep on it. He joins us now. Hello, Jim.
Hi, fellas. How you doing?
Don't let all that money change you, will you?
You say that genuinely. I mean, I used to like a bet for years. I never had a win as big as that. I mean, it was huge, small, not even a small fortune, but it was a huge luck to get that. I'm very, very grateful.
And the money, of course, good money for the club.
The yins and the yans, you know how. Sorry, Paul, I was just going to say the yins and the yans, you know how these things work out. Fate takes with one hand what it's given you with the other. And here we are talking about another England elimination. And so I suppose it's, nothing really changes, does it?
Often you watch a game of football and you wonder what you're thinking in real time is out of kilter with what other people think. But after the game, I was driving home from my eldest son's house where I watched the match. And I was listening to you Adrian and to Stuart. And you were saying all the same things I thought. That's the thing. That's the universal nature of the way most of us, 99% of us, felt watching that game unfold.
Well, I value your opinion, so that's a relief that we're on the same page as you, and it was deeply frustrating. And as you say, it's very easy from the seats that we're in, the very privileged position that we're in, to make judgment, to make instant judgment, but it did feel as though yesterday was preventable to go out in the way that we did, and that you could see it coming. Sometimes you're watching a game, I'm sure you guys feel exactly the same, where the scoreline may say one thing, but you know in your heart of hearts that it's going to swing possibly quite rapidly before the end. And I remember saying in commentary, even on 89, 90 minutes, that there were 9 additional minutes to be played, and that could be a long 9 minutes. And England didn't even last another couple before they conceded a goal. You could see it coming a mile off, and unfortunately it was the change that was made on 72 minutes to bring Ezri Konsa on for Anthony Gordon is going to go down as one of those moments in England tournament history that we all live to regret. Now, in Thomas Tuchel's defence, what I will say, and this is a stat that our fantastic stats department led by Johnny Blaine has been able to sort out for us, that from the moment that England went 1-0 up, so that was on 55, to the moment that they went 2-1 down on 90 plus 2, so that's 37 minutes, England only had 12% possession. Now, some of that was before he made any changes. So he had to do something. He did have to do something to try and stem the flow. But I think we all agree, with the benefit of hindsight, that what did happen was the wrong thing to do.
I thought his comment to Faye afterwards, when she asked the question about whether his substitutions had fed into what happened, a bit disingenuous, because to say, well, if I'd put on 3 strikers, you would have been saying something different and we'd lost. It's like, that's ridiculous. There's no way you'd do that. You'd find a balance. The best managers, the best coaches find a balance between attack and defence.
You can't play low block without pace.
No, without an out ball, without a chance to hit people on the break. Otherwise,
you saw what Egypt did. You can't, if you've just got a Kane.
It just keeps coming back, Jim.
Yeah, and so I understand why he would have felt the need to go to a back 5, and the fact that we had success in Mexico playing that way certainly would have shaped his thinking. And this was something that we were talking about on the talkSPORT Daily podcast, guys, that you just wonder whether the way in which England got over the line in Mexico City has actually damaged them long term, because it's tarnished his thinking for yesterday's game. I understand why he wanted to go to a back 5, but you don't take your paciest outlet off under those circumstances. No. Why would you? No. Particularly when his confidence is sky high, having just scored his first World Cup goal. That seemed strange to even put it remotely.
And if he was tired, why not bring on Rashford?
To then sit in the way they did. Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally agree, Andy. And to then go 5-4-1 and marginalise Jude in the way that you've done it, have no pace outlet. Harry Kane then, as the one, can't hold it up because there's no one to hold it up to, and it was very, very curious. Then 10 minutes on, he's then chasing his tail, making other changes to try and rectify that, and finds himself going deeper and deeper down the defensive rabbit hole. Meanwhile, Messi's getting more space than anybody else on the pitch. I mean, there was a fantastic camera shot that I'm sure that you guys have seen, that when he puts the ball in for one of the goals, he's literally got more room on the pitch than anyone other than Emi Martinez. How has that been allowed to happen?
I know, it's
Jim, will you be doing the 3rd place game, or are you straight off to New York for the final, you and Adrian and Stu?
No, we're going to New York, and I can't wait to see the final. It brings my streak of England games to an end, which is a little bit frustrating that it's ended that way. You can't have everything. Yeah, it's going to be Nigel commentating on the 3rd and 4th place playoff, which is at 10 o'clock kickoff your time in Miami on Saturday night, and then Adrian, Stuart and myself and our wonderful production team head back to New York City for the final in New Jersey on Sunday.
Had you been doing the 3rd place game, Stuart told us yesterday that when it came to the 3rd place game at Italia 90 against Italy, Bobby Robson played Tony Dorigo instead. So I wondered Had you done it, you would have had Tony DiRigo alongside you. You would have had to step in.
Yeah, that would have been a throwback for me because that used to happen many years ago. But yeah, probably. Or Kenny Sansom, somebody.
Yeah. And just finally,
found a way to leave him out.
I had a bit of exchange with Adrian last night after the game. He wasn't a happy man. I think that was pretty clear on air.
Oh, no.
What's he been like at... you had breakfast with him yet? Is he still upset? Has he calmed down a bit?
No, I haven't seen him. I walked past his room in the hotel without knocking on his door. I figured that he needed his beauty sleep more than the rest of us do. But last night, he was quite philosophical. By the time we'd all had a meal yesterday evening, I think that we'd all calmed down. Emotions obviously were running high, and there was a lot of upset and angst at the manner of it. But listen, we're England fans. You get over it because that's what we do. We've had enough practice.
Oh, yeah. Sadly, point, that's Jim. The game. What a good place for us to end that today. Jim, pleasure as always.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
your
Great
day.
job.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, guys. Always a pleasure and privilege to speak to you. Take care.
Jim Proudfoot there. He'll be your commentator for the final alongside Adrian Durham and Stuart Pearce. That third place game, Nigel Adley on commentary duty on Saturday night. And we'll build up to the big one between France and England. That's where our main focus will be tomorrow. We'll have the flags out the cars. Oh. Come on, lads, bronze medal. Let's be positive. Thanks for your company this morning and this afternoon, for all your emails, texts and tweets. We got through as many as we could and all your calls. Thanks to everybody who got in touch. There's another opportunity now to get it off your chest. And it's going to be very, very interesting to see what Simon Jordan makes of it all as well. He's alongside Jim White next. We'll be back with some clips of the week and Stan Collymore, hopefully, and all sorts of other stuff as we build up to the final weekend of the World Cup tomorrow from 10. Have a good day.
Performance of the tournament. France absolutely didn't do anything.
Had
a nightmare performance. Yeah, whimper without no fight. But Spain, wow, that was watching Pep Guardiola's Barcelona. That was the way they were popping that ball past France to death. France couldn't handle the passing style of Spain. They weren't pressing as a team. You saw a team there in Spain, and you saw France with superstars that all had a nightmare of a game. And very poor performance from France. I'm sure they're going to be getting a lot of stick. Luckily, we got Emmanuel Petit on at the end of the show, and he's going to be thinking to himself, didn't see that coming.
I couldn't stop